What's good, everybody? Happy Sunday. You can see this is going to be a short show. Like, share, subscribe, support the stream if you feel so inclined. If you can hear me clearly, give me a one in the chat because I do not, I cannot find my songs, man. I cannot find my earbuds to plug into this microphone. I don't know where the hell they are. Tearing apart my bag right now. So I got to do this with no sound. I couldn't even listen to the music to get into the mood and shit. I'm just sitting there watching a video on mute, apparently. Okay, we got some ones. All right. 3 and 300 is the same deal. So appreciate you guys. Like, share, subscribe. First, I want to give some shots out to people who donated to the stream last week that I didn't get to um, give them their mention last week. Oh, it's first of the month, so it's just updates on everything happening right now. Updates, updates, updates. There we go. So I got the phone, I got the computer updating. I think the computer finished already, which is good. All right. So first one goes out to Malika last week. No message, but to the Mr. Malika, I will give you the 3B salute. Appreciate you, Malika. Next one goes out to the number one wrench from last week, the Aquateki. Appreciate you, Aquateki. I will give you the power of many. Appreciate you.
Power of one, the power of two, the power of many. The power of one, the power of two, the power of many.
Appreciate you, Aquateki. Next one goes out to Joe Hurd from last week, dropping the power of many. Appreciate you, Joe Hurd.
Power of one, the power of two, the power of many. The power of one, the power of two, the power of many.
Next one goes out to No One. You know what he did. The package man. Appreciate you, No One. I will give you a 3B salute. Appreciate you. I missed the total on this one. And for the double up, we got No One. Appreciate you. I will give you double that. Appreciate you.
Double up. 3 or 4 times. I ain't telling no lies. Run it up. Never let a hard time on the
All right. So that out of the way, can move on to other things. There we go. So not a lot of bodies, but I appreciate the bodies who are here. So shout out to Malika Me Bain. Saying peace to Artisan and the Geek Elite family. Appreciate you, Malika. Shout out to Trust. She said she can't wait. She can't wait to get it on. She can't wait to get it on. I'm fine with that. Appreciate you, Trust. What's good to the Maple Leaf, Andre? Shout out to the Canadian Jamaican. I'm interested to see what you were watching this week, Andre, because I was watching some interesting stuff this week. Not, I repeat, not fucking Rings of Power. I can't. That's it? Yeah, well, it is what it is, I guess. Got at least one ninja. All right, so as you can see, I'm in the fabulous work situation. Today it's an on-call stream, meaning that I didn't even process the fact that it was a holiday weekend when I when my coworker asked me to switch for him because he had a commitment that he had to go to and he forgot. So we just switched. So instead of working next week on call, I'm working this week on call, which just means that next weekend will be free and I have more time to do whatever the hell I want to. I have 2 days off instead of 1 day off or 3 days off. Yeah, how that works. But no worries. I like that team member. He's really knowledgeable. He's a cool dude. And the only thing I gave him shit on is that when I found out what he was doing, what commitment he had, it was a motorcycle ride around the bay. I'm like, oh, well, fuck you. Like his family's out of town. Family's in the Philippines. He here by himself. I said, oh, you turning up. That's what it is. I was like, all right, well, I'll help you so you can have a good time, but you gonna owe me. I'm gonna collect favors. I don't mind collecting favors, collecting markers that you can come cash in like John Wick. Like, nope, you're gonna have to help me on this because I have this chip here. So I don't have a problem doing that. And it's just work. It's just work. Either I get it now or I get it later. It's the same old. So, but here's the funny thing. I didn't even know who the fuck he was. I didn't. If it wasn't for watching Angry Man yesterday, I would not have heard or got a context for exactly who the hell he was, even as a Gen Xer. I was not in the 70s, in the 80s. I was not living on the East Coast. It was not really known to me a lot of who these club DJs were because I was not in the damn club. I didn't. So I didn't know who he was, but thanks to Angry Man playing some of his music, I said, oh, yeah, I've heard this before. I have heard this before. I didn't know it was him. Did not know it was him. It happens. It happens. You can be oblivious to some things. So, whereas I do grieve the loss of somebody who was rubbed shoulders and so influential in the hip hop space, and grieving the loss in the sense that, well, now I don't think he had a biography or anything. He was working on our autobiography. All those connections, all that information that he knows is now gone. It's gone. Outside of the fact of people being able to say second or third hand a story about what this guy knows, the guy himself was not able to tell his story. And that bothers me a lot of times, especially with black folks, black men, and Gen Xers. A lot of times, it's like we go through a lot of stuff. We deal in a lot of situations that people would find amazing, like to be on the dawn, the precipice of something becoming what the large society would consider nothing, to being something now that the large society cannot do without. To be there at the onset of that and be one of those early forerunners in that is significant. But it's only in black culture where we don't want to hear that story until the person's dead. I spent the better part of this week, the last couple of days at least. Yeah, trust. Unfortunately, I mean, I really didn't know of them like that. I didn't. For me, being on the West Coast, there is not a huge club scene where you can get into it when you're young. It's not. I wasn't in the clubs at the 80s. I wasn't living in a bunch of boroughs. We're more spread out here. It's a little different. A little different. So you may be known, say, if you a local rapper, you might be known because you turn up at certain places and people's heard you spit, but just the DJ, you got to be on the radio. That's how you get your club gigs. And at least that's just for me, from my perspective. Mind you, he was born, Fat Man Scoop is 2 years older than me, right? He was born in 71. I was born in 73. So he's 2 years older than me. So at the same time, he was, I don't know, what age can you on the East Coast start working in fucking clubs and DJing? If he's only 2 years older than me, about say he was 21 at that time, I was 18. I was just getting out of high school. Just about to have my son. So I wasn't spending my 20s in the club. I wasn't. I was spending my time working and raising a child, trying to become a decent father. So it's just not something I was focused on like that. Because at least on the West Coast, that whole mecca idea of where hip hop started and everybody knows each other on one coast because they all rub shoulders and they all got their own companies and stuff like that, or working in the same companies close together. That's not the West Coast. That's not how that shit was over here. What you have over here is more independent operators, like Too Short, like a Mac Dre, like a Master P, that you had to start your own fucking company because there were no labels right here in the Bay Area. Your major label hookup was in LA or New York. That was it. Anywhere in between there, you had to do it yourself. And that's why those artists blew up the way they did underground, because they had to sell shit out of their fucking trunk. You had to hustle for the money to make your fucking albums yourself and fight for the space on the radio to get them to play your shit on some radio station, be it fucking KPOO or Berkeley stations or some understations. You had to. It was a hustle. It was a grind. You wasn't running into people like that all the time. So, a little different here. And I think that's probably why I'd say West Coast, at least for me, in my opinion, right? Yeah, KMEL, KPOO. Look, I would just say from my experience, we don't revere DJs as much as the East Coast does, because the club scene is different. It's different. Now, we have DJs here that were big deals, but they were big deals because they were on the radio. They were radio DJs. They weren't rappers. They weren't engineers on rap albums. It's just DJs. Radio personalities, if that, right? So the ones that blew up out here, at least in my time, were always guys who knew how to DJ and engineer. They had their own studios. Maybe they hustled, maybe they were spoiled kids, but they ended up with their own studios and they made music. They helped other people make music. It wasn't because they was just playing in the club somewhere. So little different. Like I would think of Ant Banks. I don't ever remember Ant Banks that messed with Too Short DJing in the club. I don't remember ever hearing about that. But I did know Banks had a studio. And Short fucked with him and got his beats from him. And to get dangerous music and Banks beat meant something. It was like being able to get a beat from Dr. Dre or be in the studio with Dre. Now, you know, Dre DJ'd in clubs and stuff, but Dre was coming up at a different time. Dre's a lot older, too. So he had to DJ in the clubs in the 80s. Because he wasn't a kid in the 80s. Just saying. So a little different. So all that to say, I don't take anything away from Fat Man Scoop. His influence is his influence. And I'm glad that there was somebody on the internet, especially a black male face, who could sit there and talk about this man's accomplishments. And let me know, even as an older Gen Xer, like, no, he did this, and this. Like, oh shit, thank you. I appreciate that. Because I never think I know everything. I don't. I'm pretty smart, but I don't know everything. I told y'all that many a fucking times. So I am always willing to learn from people who do know a little bit more about something than I do. I'm willing to listen to that. Because that is how you learn. That is where the humility and your intelligence comes from. My thinking is always, if you're the smartest guy in the room when you walk in, then you need to find another room to get into. Because that means you're in a room full of dumb fucks. And you need to have your skills or your intelligence tested to where you can strive to get better and gain more intelligence and gain more knowledge. Said I'm educating you on the Bay hip hop scene. Trust, I just know it from my perspective for who I am. Like I've told you guys before, I wasn't a street dude. So I wasn't out in the streets all the time. But I have touched shoulders and been close to people who really did that shit and knew people. And it was more of, especially when I was younger in the late 80s and early 90s, wanting to be a rapper, right? I'm talking about 5th grade rapping in school, doing rap contests and shit like that. Wanting to be rappers and understanding how, if we had a group, how we would be able to get on, right? Or go nationwide. You had to do it yourself. You had to find some people who had some shit, who knew some people who had some shit, namely your studio equipment. So you could set up your microphone in the bathroom after you put some blankets all over the walls and stuff like that, and turn that bathroom, that shower, into your fucking sound booth. Be it with a Mr. Microphone hooked up to the shower head or not, you can get in there and get this recording on the computer in the other room because somebody's parents had a little bit more money than you did. So they could afford to buy their kids computers and shit. And kids was interested enough to learn how to work that shit instead of destroying it. It's like, no, we can record this with this. We can record right here. We can make our own rap music. I got this little beat machine recently. Oh shit, really? Man, what can you do with that? Oh man, we can make it. That's why if you play old 90s music right now, it'll sound really cheap and basic. But you have to understand that was people making something out of nothing, legit getting it out the mud. And that's why you don't see a lot of West Coast people frowning on the fact that, hey, it's some XD boys who became rappers. Well, that's how they got the money. That's how they were learning to get money out here. So yeah, you could say it's a negative thing, but look, if you're struggling to survive, nobody can point their finger at you and say how you're surviving is not good enough. That's not the right way to do it. Man, fuck you. I'm making my way out of what's available. And you don't eat off of ideals. You eat off of actions. So if they took that money and flipped it into other things and did put out something positive for it, that's considered a success story. It is. But that's how we know people out here like Master P, Too Short, JT the Bigger Figure, fucking Ray Love, Tupac, Digital Underground. We know these guys because these are people who did it themselves and got the major labels on the East Coast and LA to go look for them and then want to offer them deals to sell their music nationally, internationally, because they was already doing the numbers themselves. They didn't have to go looking for them. They had to make it themselves and let them come find them. But that was the dream. I remember they used to run something out here on Cameo. It was like a battle of the rappers kind of situation over the radio. And you would get to call into the show and you would go against each other. You would spit a verse. Each person would spit a verse on the radio live, right? You would spit a verse, they'd spit a verse. And then people would be able to call in and say who they thought won. Most votes won. And then you would go on to the next night. And somebody would come up and try to challenge you. So it was a way to get yourself known around the Bay Area. Because this is on a live radio station. This is the major station in the area, right? So they would hear your ass everywhere from San Francisco damn near up to Sacramento. As far south as, I believe, past San Jose. Right? And it was a chance for you to show your fucking skills. I planned to go on there and I planned out my raps because I was never a from the head type of rapper, right? You can just make it up as you go off the dome. I always admire that, but that's not who I was. It would take a little bit longer. Not because I don't think like that. That's just not the way things are connected in my head. I'm more thought out than that. So I would write. I was a writer. I could write. So I had written my raps for nights one, nights two, and, so on, what I would say. Now, it seemed canned in a sense, but you have to think about it. This is the 90s. It wasn't a lot of people who actually just came from the head. That's why they stood out. Because most people wrote. Everybody wrote. It wasn't just a jumble of loosely pulled together fucking words. Like I could recite the dictionary, but none of it actually makes any fucking sense thematically, narratively, or anything like that. It's just a bunch of words that sound like they work together. They're not saying anything. Verbal vomit. Let's see. I can still remember that rap, actually. I can still remember one of those raps. Yeah, I'll share it with you guys. Just because it's funny. Just because it's funny, I'll share it with you. Let's see. Night 2 in the year is 9 deuce. Another sucker steps and another hangs from a noose. Because I'm carrying things on a Cameo battle. I'm snatching suckers up and chopping them down like a fiddle fell. My rhymes are much thicker than a ballpark frank. I get my gift from God, so the G.O.D. I think. My rhymes are very numerous. I keep them in a sack. Don't try to lift them or you might break your back. Maybe blow a hip socket just like Bo knows. I'm heating up the mic so you might get a bloody nose. Because I've been doing this for 8 long years. So don't confront me with hard talk trying to pump fear. Because you gets none, even if it gets Nathan. Your raps are the ones producers ain't taking. No time for you. Sorry, picture like a booger. On to the next to see if he can do you. Up with some studio time and co-writers for your rhymes. You thought you had it, but got kicked in your behind. Talking hard, you got to come with much more. So people can say, look at them flow, look at them flow. Flow is what I'm doing, and I'm running like water. I'm killing suckers off even if I was a plumber. See him coming clean, many thought I couldn't swing it. You asked for a dope rhyme, so I had to bring it. Right to your face, put it right between your eyes. And I didn't have to mention one line about the South Side. RICHMOND. That's where I'm coming from, so don't forget me. I'm going to state my name clear so everyone can see. T Stowe, 510 187V. That was a night 2 rap. And dated, 1992. So that was 18-year-old Artisan. But that's how you would try to get yourself out there, to be known, to be seen. Not because some A&R was looking for your ass. The whole point of that competition was that if you won for so many nights, you would get some producer to come talk to you. Look, Malika say, Gen X MCs put in effort and had talent because competitiveness was fierce. Yeah, it was fierce because you had to be good. And mind you, I told you guys, I was rapping in 5th grade. My idols when I was coming up rapping was Houdini, UTFO, Run DMC, Melly Mel. These were the people that, if you're from Richmond, you know this shit. Like Herb is in here, he can tell you, right? Herb knows where J.O. Ford School was. That was my elementary school. And on that elementary school, they used to have a green wall that you could play, handball, racquetball, or whatever against. At that time and age, some motherfuckers didn't know what the hell that wall was for. It was just a big green wall. But what we would do is on recess, we would go out to that wall and we would have little rap contests, all little ciphers. So much so that we would do just random raps, like me and my friend Marcus, right? Marcus actually did become a rapper. He sold records, right? We rap over the intercom. They would do their announcements, and shit like that. And they had us come in because we were known as the rappers of the school at that time. And they would have us come in and we did our rap over the intercom for the school about all the teachers. This is what rapping was back in the day. You had to write shit. It ain't, I'm slurring off a lean, tripping in this motherfucker. I don't need a beat. I just get it. No, it wasn't all that. You had to be creative. And what you had to do was, if you wanted somebody to hear it, you had to do it without cursing. That's why I don't give Will Smith shit for not cussing. That was how you had to be able to get on the radio. Because it's easy to link curse words together. Herb said Artisan got bars. I did. Like I told you, I was good at a lot of different things. I'm not just good at one thing. That's why Artisan fits for who I am. Because it's all art. You probably did, Herb. You might have. I told you, I lived all over because we moved about every 2 to 3 years. So I lived all over Richmond. And at that time, I was going to Ford School, which is closer to San Pablo, if you know the Bay Area and the Richmond area. I was staying on South Side. So I was taking a bus all the way over there to go to school. So anyway, all that is in service of saying, which is probably why I wouldn't understand who this guy was beforehand. I'm not saying it's an excuse, it's just a reason. I feel bad that I didn't know. But I have heard his songs. I just didn't know he was responsible for making them. Just didn't. So it takes nothing away from him and what he did. And it's just my fault that I have to find that shit out after he's passed. But thankfully, as I believe all men should do, he put something out there into the world of his own. So he has a legacy that will live beyond him. Because that's what legacy is. What you build of your own and leave behind. The shade of the tree that others will find comfort in that you planted the seed for. So, like, share, subscribe, support the stream if you feel so inclined. I know it's the first of the month. Everybody got to pay their rent. You text me. Somebody texted me. 1 second. What is it? Okay. No. Okay, that was not the text. Okay, so what do we have to actually to talk about on the geek front since I just wasted 40 minutes on that? How this relates to fatmanscoop. Spent the better part of this week watching documentaries. And a documentary show I was watching was on Hulu because I told you guys I have about 5 to 6 streaming services, so I have to rotate them to watch the stuff on my list, right? So I'm on Hulu right now. I'm watching Hulu shows. And I came across a show when I was looking for something to watch. Why is the battery saver on? You plugged up the power, you dumb fuck. The device is plugged in. What are you talking about? Oh my God. Sorry about that. Okay, something else I got to fix. This outlet over here is not working, so my computer was using battery power. One of the shows I was watching, I ended up watching was WWE Rivals. And it came out about 2 years ago. I hadn't seen it before. And it talks about the rivalries inside the WWF. And it's done by Freddie Prinze Jr., if you can imagine that shit. Because what I didn't know was that he wrote for WWE for a while. And so he's sitting down with other wrestlers, panel of people that he put together, and they're talking about these different rivalries. And these people that are sitting at the table actually know some of the information from the inside of the business and being in the locker rooms at the time the shit was going on and stuff. Right. So they give all this lead up and tell you the actual beats of what is scripted and what's real in these situations, and then interview the people that were involved in the situations about these events, and they can give their perspective on what was going on at the time and how they feel now. And I thought that was a very interesting and really good way to do a documentary where most of the people that you're talking to are still alive. So they can tell you what was happening. So if you talk about something like one of the ones that really was interesting to me that I felt like I learned a lot from was the one about Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant. And it shows Hogan as he started. And it's not just focused on Hogan. It's mostly focused on Andre, right? Because as a young kid, about 8 or 10, I knew who Andre the Giant was. Why? Because my cousins that I lived with, whose father was a carpenter and a Marine, they lived in Hawaii. So when they came back from Hawaii, I was hearing all these stories about Jimmy Superfly Snuka and Andre the Giant and stuff like that, right? So when pro wrestling started popping off and showing up on TV, I was watching that shit. So I remember seeing that WrestleMania 3. I remember seeing Hogan wrestling in the ring. What I didn't know about was his time before that. Before he was the massive Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant was old. I didn't know Hulk Hogan actually played the fucking guitar back in the day. That he was in a band. They showed them old pictures, and I love shit like because I like history. I like seeing where things came from. Look at that, seeing them old pictures and them interviewing him about what he was doing. It was hilarious to me. Absolutely hilarious to me. But it's good to show that some people have dreams that are bigger than the people around them. And the people around them can see it absolutely ridiculous and not see it the way they do at all. And think they're fucking dumb for even doing that. But you know what the difference is? It was 4 people in Hogan's band. He said he wanted to be a professional wrestler and quit the band. The other 3 dudes laughed their ass off. Do you know what the other 3 dudes' name is? Neither do I. See how that works? And Hogan wasn't good initially. He sucked. He was too arrogant. And who put a whooping on his ass every time? Andre. Andre beat his ass every time. And this is not Andre saying it. This is Hogan saying it. Oh, that motherfucker beat my ass every time. But he saw something in me. He's trying to bring it out of me. Yeah, because the best lessons are tough ones. That's the ones you learn from. You show me people who've learned from not having to have some adversity, and I'll show you a Mary Sue. So watching it was interesting that I learned a lot more about Hogan. I also learned a lot more about Andre and really got a better understanding that I didn't have when I was a kid watching Andre the Giant about why he got so big, why it makes it that he's a once in a lifetime, at least for me, type of person. And really getting the understanding of why he could put away so much alcohol, why he drank so much fucking alcohol. Motherfucker was probably in pain the whole time. That's the only thing that dulled it. What was going on with the first match I saw them in, where Hogan slammed him? What was going on then? Because Hogan gave the backstory, and not the wrestling backstory, the behind the scenes backstory, the real part. That they didn't know what the fuck they were going to do when he got out there. He didn't, because Andre wouldn't tell him. Andre just wanted him to sit down and drink with him. And Andre was sitting there drinking fists of Crown Royal and knocking them bitches back. And Hogan is sitting there and said, I could not keep up with what he was trying to drink. I would not be able to make it out to the ring. So when he wasn't looking, I'd be pouring them bitches out. He said, I couldn't drink what he was giving me. I couldn't drink as much as he was trying to give me. No, I had to pour that shit out. Wouldn't have made it to the ring. It is the definition of a hero's journey, Malika. It is. Because the hero's journey starts with adversity. Right? So getting through all of that, I thought it was really touching in a way to see how Hogan was crying, talking about Andre and about what that man did for him and letting him slam him. Because it wasn't something that Hogan had planned. Andre told him to do that shit. And they showed the clip in the match. He said, Andre gets up and he tells me, slam. And you could see him kind of mouthing the shit. He's like, what? And he did it. And in wrestling, that's called putting somebody over. That's what Andre did for him. That's why he was so appreciative. It helped his career. Andre was the biggest thing going in that shit. Hogan was the new young and up and comer. Andre didn't just keep beating that motherfucker down so he never surpassed him. He put that motherfucker over to help the business more than his ego. And help the career of Hogan. Now, the funny part to that, because you're watching all these different rivalries, you can see how certain lines play all the way through. One of the last ones I watched was John Cena and The Rock. Now, I like The Rock. Been watching his career since he was out there like Rocky Maivia because I was really into wrestling. I was not that damn interested in John Cena. I wasn't. John Cena to me was a 50 Cent ripoff. And at this point in time, when John Cena comes around, I'm really disliking the fact how people keep stealing from black culture to make themselves rich. I'm really hating that shit. So all that rapping in the ring and the baseball hat and the shorts and the tennis shoes and thugonomics and all that shit, I wasn't feeling that at all. I was like, I know who the fuck 50 Cent is. I'm listening to this music. You leeching off the shit. Whatever, man. I wasn't even into watching WWE at that time. Wasn't. So listening to their rivalry and how things went on with them, but seeing how Rock did exactly for Cena what he mentioned Hogan did for him, because I remember Hogan and Rock wrestling. That was a big deal. That was the dude from my childhood and the guy from contemporary time for me, biggest stars in that shit, blew up at different peaks in that business. Hogan put Rock over and raised his hand after the match was over. He didn't shit on him. He raised his hand. This is your champion. That's a big deal. That is the handoff of the legacy to the next generation. Now, watching that Rock and Cena shit, what did I see? Rock did that for Cena. He did it for him and raised his hand the same way. Shit paying forward. From Andre to Hogan, from Hogan to The Rock, from The Rock to John Cena. This business is still going on, and it's only gotten bigger. But nobody is shitting on the people that came before them. And nobody is shitting on the people that's coming up after them. Like, oh no, I push these motherfuckers down. They can't never rise. What up, Black Bang? Look, Two Triv. You could say that Cena was a mockery of black folks. I hated that dude. John Cena as an actor and an entertainer, I like. He's just a big white boy, but he's not a dummy, right? He's a businessman, right? He has a sense of humor. I didn't like the John Cena wrestler character. I didn't, because it was 50 Cent. But here's the thing, Two Triv, that I'll fuck you up. You know about the NWO, though, right? You like them, right? Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, Hollywood Hogan. Who were they ripping off? West Coast rap. Tupac, NWO. That's all that shit was. That's all it was. It was a gimmick for what is popular in culture at that time. And at that point, what was outside of mainstream culture at that time, they just took it and put it on TV. And they gained a lot of money, a lot of notoriety, and a lot of distinction in the business for what they took from outside of the business and brought it into the business. Kind of gang culture, or at least West Coast rap culture. But they admit the shit openly. They'll tell you where it came from. Because if I remember correctly, the story for why John Cena became the way he came, because he was already in wrestling, mind you. He was already in wrestling before he became the what was it, the doctor of thugonomics or whatever the fuck. Who told him to do that shit? Who gave him that idea for it? Stephanie McMahon. Why? Because she listened to 50 Cent. This is the hottest thing going right now. We need somebody like this. Why did Scott Hall and them use all that West Coast shit? Because they was listening to rap music. Faux Life. West Side Connection. Where they get it from that? Tupac? That's a hood shit. That's hood shit. Where you from? Such and such for life. NWA, niggas for life. Come on, man. People pick off our shit all the time and blow up ridiculous off of it. Now, I at least respect the ones who can actually admit it. Because if you want to talk about culture vulturing, that's what it is all the time. There ain't a creative endeavor in this country that black folks ain't been a part of and ain't nobody stole from it to enrich themselves, not the culture, themselves. Sometimes you hate it, sometimes you don't. So there's been a bunch of mockeries, but that's kind of what they're doing. Think of wrestling as movies, live action movies, where the characters don't really shed that shit when the camera's off. They do a lot more of their own stunts. Put it that way. They do more of their own stunts. There's no stunt doubles. That's why some of them can make the transition from doing pro wrestling to acting very easily. The other one I watched was Dave Bautista and Triple H. I like Triple H. I remember him since he was Hunter Hearst Helmsley coming in doing all that bullshit. I remember him. Love him as a game, though. I do. But him starting his version of, they called it Evolution, but really it was his version of the Four Horsemen. It's just what it was. Flair was there for a reason. Him and Batista and him mentoring Batista, seeing a new talent that's coming in and thinking that they could be better. They could have a big career in this business, looking for the next big thing in their business. Not just for him, the business. He helped develop that dude, elevate that dude, and he did become a champion. He did become a big deal. And he did go off into Hollywood and like doing that a lot more than wrestling. But what he did to show respect, which gives me a lot of respect for, even more respect for Batista, is that he came back and wrestled another match, his retirement match, with his mentor. He would do it with nobody else, to thank him for what he did for him, helping him get started and helping him become a superstar in that business. That's a lot of respect shown. Because for most people will tell you that Triple H is an egomaniac. He don't like losing to people. Well, that's a big deal. Appreciate you, Sam, for supporting the stream. I will give you the power of many. Thank you.
Power of one. The power of two. The power of many. The power of one. The power of two. The power of many.
I couldn't hear that at all that time. Yeah, see, Malika, no, it was NWA. Yep. That's why black folks gravitated to it so quickly. They understood that was one letter off of something else, especially with using for life. Yeah, our culture is constantly imitated and duplicated. Yeah, and sold back to us. Imitated, duplicated, and sold back to us after they hated it for a while. You want to see a more recent example? You watch the Olympics, right? Breakdancers in the Olympics, right? Okay. In the 80s, when breakdancing, when they was making, the breaking movies and the beach streets and shit like that, I remember how people talked about that shit. A passing fad, just like rap. Just some shit some street kids is doing. What is it now? They'll sell it to you. They own the companies that market that shit. Black folks don't. They'll sell it to you though. They'll sell you your culture all day. Yeah, shout out to the luchadors. Yep. Shout out to Rainfire. Yeah, Triple H is a dude. I like his business acumen and his wrestling acumen. That dude he's a dude. Told you I used that I am the game shit when I was in carpentry. That's what got me through my first couple of years of being a journeyman. I still use that shit most of the time. Yeah, I was an Undertaker fan. I liked the Undertaker since the first time I saw his ass show up on the screen. But I had to go back and get versed on who Mark Calloway was because my younger brother always watched NWA wrestling. Right. He didn't like watching WWE as much. He was the first one to gravitate to watching WCW and NWA wrestling. And his dude was Flair. But watching that with him, because you got a younger brother sometimes, at least the rules in my house was, whoever turned on the TV first got to pick the show you was watching. So you would end up watching some shit you probably didn't want to watch, or you take your ass outside. My brother turned on the TV first. He got up early that day. Because you had to pull a button out to turn the TV on. That's what he was watching. So that's when I was getting to see the Four Horsemen. Arn Anderson, the Enforcer. Ric Flair, the Nature Boy. Mean Mark Callow. Twin Towers. That's when I got to see shit like that. So when he came to WWE or WWF at the time and was the Undertaker, I was all on that shit. That motherfucker was dominant. That was one of my favorite characters to play in any wrestling video game. I was always playing Bret Hart or the Undertaker. That's what it was. I didn't care for Stone Cold too much because Stone Cold was too much of that redneck shit. I'm not into rednecks. Even though a redneck is basically a Negro. They're basically the same character. It's just one's a white version, one's a black version. But if you put them together in the same room, long as it wasn't a racist shit said, they could drink and have a good time, and y'all would still be afraid to go over there and fuck with them. Like, there's niggas and rednecks over there. I ain't going over there. Yeah, the Monday Night Wars, Nitro. Yeah, I love Nitro. I was thinking about this, too, while I was watching that show, because they did something that I hadn't even thought about before. They showed the rivalry between Brie Bella and Stephanie McMahon. I always had like a low-key crush on Stephanie McMahon since she showed up on the shit. I did. Told you I like women. It don't matter if they Caucasian, black, Asian, whatever, man. Women are beautiful to me. And I don't just see one style of woman as being beautiful. I don't. It don't matter what it is that attracts them. I see them as attractive, right? Okay. I was sitting there going down the list, and I was thinking in my head of how many attractive women do I know in wrestling? What's my top 5 attractive women in wrestling? Now, because it's wrestling, it is primarily, at least what I've seen, primarily Caucasian women. And I thought about that shit for a while. Like, oh, well, that's interesting. Because the top 5, some of these people didn't make the list. Like Miss Jacqueline was a valet ring chick, but I didn't find her overly attractive because she had them big ass fake boobs on her. Just didn't do it for me. But one of my top five, one of the chicks that's in my top five, since we're talking about Monday Nitro, Kimberly Page. Diamond Dallas Page chick, Kimberly. She's a fine ass white chick, dude. I love the Nitro girls. Yeah, Jade Cargill is hot, but Jade Cargill is new, Malika. She's for this year. These last couple of years. Jade Cargill is cut, man. She cut nice. Nice. But she's recent. I see more wrestling now on YouTube because I keep up with some of the channels that talk about the shit. And I watched Undertaker's show, 6 Feet Under. I watch his show. Because I like hearing him talk about this shit. He's been there so fucking long. I like hearing his behind the scenes stuff about it. That's always more fascinating to me. That it's just the dude. I'm sitting here thinking about it yesterday because they're doing these interviews and Undertaker is in a bunch of them talking about the situation and what was going on at different points. I say, and I'm really asking myself, I think I'm liking him more as Mark than I am as the Undertaker. Because the Undertaker is a dominant character. I like that. That's cool. But Mark is funny sometimes. It's still the same dude. I know he could probably still kick somebody's ass, but he's more fun. It's just how you relate to people differently in different situations. I never liked Sable. Malika, I didn't. I liked, what was her name back in the day? Tina Ferrari or whatever her name was. I like her more than Sable. Sable was another one with the big ass fake boobies and face and shit. No. You look at that chick now? No. You know, from that era with Sable, who I would take? I didn't give a shit about Trish. I didn't give a shit about Sable. Stacy Keibler was all right. Was too bony down below. My chick was fucking Lita. Lita, the wrestler. That was my chick. I was down for some Lita shit. That's why y'all listened to my conversation last week. I tell you, I don't mind some tattoos, depending on where they are. If they're not too masculine, I'm good. But like Toya was up here with her little profile picture with the pants slung low and the bodysuit on. Oh, I like that shit. That was kind of what Lita wore. Wendy Richter from the 80s. Man, you sound like you was watching Glow too. You sound like you was watching the Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling too. No, there were some chicks, but top five, there's a lot of different chicks in there. Lita's in the top five too. Just saying. It's just what it is. So, anyway, the point to all that was that the documentary show, which I love documentaries, was very good. It's very well made. And the stories, you can see that these are these people's legacy. It is predominantly men, but it's predominantly men getting thrown off the top of fucking cages, bloody in their fucking forehead to entertain the fucking masses, putting their bodies and their lives on the line to do this shit. And being able to walk away from it and be like, yeah, I almost died that night. Like, and you went to work the next day? Yeah. Talk about a hero's journey. We took years off each other's lives that night. Yeah, you did. It looked like that to me too. Holy shit. Sensational Sherry was something else. Yeah, shout out to Mick Foley. I read his book. Have a nice day. I read his book because they put out his book the same time they put out, well, not the same time. The Rock's book came afterwards. But read his book and The Rock's book. That's why I give The Rock such respect. That's why he was one of my favorites. I could see that I've read about that motherfucker's struggle. Read about his struggle from college years up to wrestling. That's how I knew about his wife or his ex-wife, Danny. So I knew about her. Told y'all, you got a book. I will buy it and I will read it. I'm not adverse to books. Yeah. 6 Feet Under podcast on YouTube. 6 Feet Under podcast on YouTube. And they didn't pay me for that shout out, but they don't need my help. They got a way bigger channel than me. So basically it looked like I'm fucking clout chasing because I mentioned some shit that I watch in YouTube. Told you, I cruise these YouTube streets far and wide. I don't just sit in the black neighborhood. I go everywhere. Have car, will travel. All right, if I say I didn't miss Glow growing up, half naked girls wrestling with bad soap opera drama. That shit was kind of funny, man. Watching Glow for me as a kid was like watching WMAC Masters. I'm seeing martial arts, but their soap opera drama is fucking comical. It's fucking comical. But they're all stunt actors, right? So you get to know who they actually are. So when you get up to something like the first Mortal Kombat movie and you see these people rolling out there, it's like, oh man, that's Kareem Austin. Oh, that's Chris Casamassa. That's who Scorpion is. I know who these people are. Then you get a relation to them like, oh, I already know who they actually are. Yeah, that motherfucker badass. That's how you get it. Yeah, that Andre, he tried to play football out of college. Yeah, fucked up, and he had to go to the Canadian League to play. And he was broke as shit in Canada. Broke as shit. He was losing his will to live, as far as I was concerned, being up there. So yeah, he was in the Canadian League. That's why most people say now that he's like gaining too much power and they want to see him fall. Like, oh, he owning the XFL? Yeah. The motherfucker played college ball. He tried to go professional. It didn't work out for him. So I don't feel any kind of way about him owning the XFL because I know how much love he has for fucking football. So that doesn't bother me. Everybody has a history. Everybody is on their journey. Some missteps they take, some failures they take, but what you can always admire about some of these people, no matter what's going on, they still keep moving forward. They still keep moving forward. And the fact that they keep moving forward is why I don't give them shit when they hit success. I don't. Rock has failed many fucking times. Dwayne Johnson, I should say, has failed many times. You still know who the fuck he is, though, don't you? Now he's just to the point where motherfuckers want to see him fail and try to make it happen. He a part owner of that wrestling shit now, as well as some other shit. I buy his alcohol because that Terramana tequila shit ain't bad. And I don't even like tequila. So call it what you will. I don't give a fuck. But I know he's been putting in the work, the hard work for years, for decades. So I'm happy to see him get whatever fucking success he gets. Because he ain't gave up, I can tell you that much. Yeah, Rock's 12. That was a big fucking 12. That's a genetic freak, man. I was watching, it was It was Rock and Cena sized up to each other, and it was like one of the promos they did before WrestleMania. What was it, 28 or something like that? And I'm just looking at this motherfucker's chest as Cena's chest. Like Cena's not a small dude, right? He has good pecs, but when he lifts his hands, his pecs drop down, right? So it's all like it's inflated. Rock raises his hands, them pecs is still fucking there, nigga. That shit is tight as fuck. So his chest, he was standing up there, they were face to face in the ring, and it was looking like that Rob Liefeld picture of Captain America. That fucking chest out there like that. Like, that's a big fucking dude. Holy shit. Yeah, you can be arrogant. Show me the person that's gonna kick your ass. You go out there and wrestle other grown ass men, or you have done it every day of the week for years, throwing them on the ground, off the ropes, all this shit. Oh, that motherfucker weak. He ain't changing the balance of power nowhere. Why don't you go tell him that shit and let me record it? I bet he'll slap the fuck out of you while calling you a bitch to your face. I wish that man all the respect, all the success in the world, man. Not mad at seeing him get any of it. And Bret Hart was my favorite. Excellence of execution. That is a phrase that lives in my mind forever. Love Bret Hart, the Hart family. Bret, Shawn Michaels, Triple H. I did like the smaller wrestlers coming out of Hogan. I did like some of the smaller wrestlers because I saw that change coming. Don't mind that shit at all. I tell you, one of my other favorites that most people wouldn't even think of, Chris Kanyon. Kanyon was innovative with his moves. Edge, Christian. Dude, I watched a lot of wrestling. Love that shit. Oh, let me not forget one of my favorite tag teams, British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith. Love them twos. I don't give a shit about Marty Jannetty, but I do like did like the Rockers, did like the Killer Bees. You know, before the Wu-Tang showed up. Yep, Hakeem the Machine Austin. Machine. Yeah, he didn't make shit. Malika, he didn't make shit. Go back you can probably still find that book. It's called The Rock Says, I believe. I remember the title was. It's called The Rock Says. And you read that chapter on how it was for him when he was in Canada. That motherfucker was struggling. To know he was struggling then in his 20s. He's about the same age as me or a little bit younger. I don't think he's 50 yet. And to see where he is now, you cannot look at that man's story and say he has not struggled and has not earned everything that he has right now and be shitting on him for it. Fuck you. You ain't did none of this work. Yeah, Rock, a.k.a. the hardest worker in the room. Hell yeah. John Cena was talking about, even for all he does now, and being in Hollywood, in the interview, he was talking about how he can't do wrestling in Hollywood at the same time. He doesn't know how The Rock does it. He said his hardest day is like The Rock's morning. No shit. Because if you lined out what The Rock does on a daily, that motherfucker in the gym daily. Live streaming himself in the gym daily. He owns a couple of businesses. He's the head of a couple of businesses in doing it. In addition to being acting and working roles and shit like that. That motherfucker work ethic is crazy. But that's the type of shit it takes to be successful. It's not going to come with, oh, this was all easy. I had a nice pair of tits and a pretty face, so they just gave it to me. Or I just had to lay on this couch for 10 minutes and let this motherfucker get his 2 minutes of jollies off. No, that's not going to be the way. And as much as people get pissed at him for playing up his Samoan side, well, he don't have to play up his black side, does he? Because you look at him and see him as a black dude. A big, intimidating, shit-talking black dude at that. He gonna need some money to keep his ass out of jail. And to keep people from fucking with him. Blue Blazer? Yeah, Owen Hart. I liked him as Black Heart a little bit better. Yep. That's why it's called $7. And Danny was there with him. That's why I actually respect his relationship with his ex-wife, Danny, a lot. Because she was with his ass when he was broke. She was. And they still have a very good relationship business-wise and everything. That's his fucking manager. Still. Look, you can't trust her. Who can you fucking trust? I trust her before his new wife. He only has $7. And that's why it's called $7. Like I said, that's why I don't give him shit. I do not give The Rock shit at all. I respect him for his hustle. I respect him for the journey that he has been on, his adversities that he's seen, and he come out of that shit and made himself into something. Motherfuckers want to talk about him being arrogant. He got the right to be fucking arrogant. You don't. And if you do, it ain't with him. I'm not saying you got to kiss his ass, but you understand this motherfucker put in work to get where he's at. And he ain't stopped. Yeah. And still play with his kids. I watch those videos too. The Rock is one of few celebrities I will follow on social media. Because I let celebrities have their life. I don't need to follow celebrities all the time to see what they're doing and see what they're saying because I don't usually care. If they're not doing what I respect them for, I don't bother them. Which means I don't need to be in your life and more invested in what's going on in your life than I am in mine. No. You living a life just like I'm living a life. I wouldn't want to work on camera and live on camera the whole fucking time. No. That's not how I approach the shit. So, no, you don't need me following you on social media. I don't care what you got to say all the goddamn time. I don't. Just like you would not care what I have to say all the time. Let you have your life. Enjoy it. But some people who I see as being really authentically themselves, yeah, I'll peek in on that shit more often. Why the fuck not? Rock broke the internet when he dropped a verse on Face Off. I don't remember his verse on Face Off. Rock broke the internet when he dropped that verse, okay, Face Off. I don't even know what the hell that is. Because trust me, I hear Face Off when I think of the Cell Block album. Cell Block compilation 2 was called Face Off. Or Nicolas Cage and John Travolta Face Off. I don't know shit about a Rock Face Off. So, anyway, if you want to watch it, it is very edifying on a human level of what goes on with these people in wrestling. And it's a documentary, but it's a documentary in a style that you have the documentary beats in it where you get archival footage and shit like that. You get interviews from the people that were involved in it, but it's also intercut with people having a panel discussion about it the whole time. Because I can tell you one of the people that are on the panel is like Kofi Kingston. I like Kofi, but I didn't know how deeply of a fan of this shit he was. Kofi has been one of those people who are living their dream. Remembers having paid money to be at some of these major events and sitting in the fucking rafters to watch it and still being happy he was in the building. To now going from the rafters to the center ring, doing this shit, being a champion in this shit. That is a hero's journey. Because it shows what you can do, even as a black boy, to see your dreams come true. You just got to put in work. Just got to put in the work. And it can happen. So the panel, one of the panels that I do like that he has, because sometimes there's different people sitting there, it is Freddie Prinze Jr., Kofi Kingston, Kevin Nash, Big Kevin Easy. I like Kevin Nash, right? JBL, John Bradshaw Layfield. Love Bradshaw because I love his clothesline. Should have called that motherfucker a guillotine or something. And then Tamina Snuka, Jimmy Fly Snuka's daughter or something like that. I like that panel. Because JBL has been there for a long time. Kofi Kingston has been a fan in there long enough. Tamina Snuka is Rock's cousin who grew up with him. Outside of being Jimmy Fly Snuka's relative. I'm not sure if she's his daughter or not. She doesn't look old enough to be his daughter. Might be a granddaughter or something. I don't fucking know. But she's been around long enough, right? She's about the age of Rock, obviously. And then Kevin Nash, who was there in WWF and was there for bringing in that shit in WCW. The amount of wrestling knowledge that's there in those people from doing this work is what makes it interesting, because there's enough generational gap there between all of them that they can speak to any of these situations from the past to the current. And they remember their times when they was first getting in there and know what the fuck they was doing. $5 a.m. gym session is what you should do. I only did 5 a.m. gym sessions for a while when I was working construction, because we went to work at 7. We started at 7. So you would get up at 4 a.m., hit the gym, 4:30, back home by like 5:30, shower, change, and take your ass to work, do, commercial construction, which is heavy and hard, for 8 to 10 hours, 12 hours some days. It depends on what you're doing. And then come home, eat, play with the kids, fuck around a little bit, go to sleep, and then start that shit over again, rinse and repeat. Once you get in the habit of doing that shit, you don't ever want to stop. Because starting back up again from a cold start is murder. Murder. Yeah, that David Goggins shit. Yeah, that's some military shit. You have to be dedicated to that. When you see a big dude like, say, a Batista, big and in shape, going back to wrestle again and talking about how he knows he's out of shape for this. There's a certain amount of stamina, a certain amount of such and such you need, and see his ass on the fucking cycle machine and pushing the sled, which sweat coming off his ass like he was in 200-degree weather. Motherfuckers is getting it in the gym. That is not, let me get on this machine and pose for these chicks. No, this is about fucking work. Getting there and do this shit. I fucked up. That hurt. Give me 2 minutes. And now we back at it. That is a discipline. That is a discipline that will make you successful at anything because it proves you have a long enough fucking attention span to stick to shit. Oh, this is hard. Oh, fuck all this. No, nigga. Anything worth doing is worth doing right, and you're going to have to put in the time and the effort to get it done right. It's just what it is. You got to dedicate yourself. I think Will Smith said that shit about running on a treadmill, that he hit a point where he finally realized when his mindset was changing, where he was going to have to die on that treadmill. That he would keep doing that shit until he died on that fucking treadmill. Some motherfucker got stamina like that. That's why you see his ass running in all the movies. You ain't got a problem with seeing Tom Cruise running in every movie, do you? Because Tom Cruise keep his ass in shape. And it's been that way for a long goddamn time. It's only these modern generations that want to convince you that everybody's supposed to be fat, bloated, and out of shape. Yeah, I was watching that shit. Batista just shrunk down. Yep. You can't carry that much weight forever, especially when you get older. Because you're not going to keep packing on more muscle as an older guy. Unless you're going to start taking fucking testosterone injections and shit like that. You're not. It's not healthy for you. You can do it when you're younger. But after a certain age, that's extra weight you don't want to be carrying. Like, I'll tell you guys this because I kind of know y'all, and it's kind of funny to say it. You get older, you can have circulation issues. I can't sit in certain places for long periods of time because when I do, my legs will go numb. Now, I thought about it this morning because my leg was going numb after I was sitting for a little while. And when I got up, I was thinking about it, how I'm pretty spry walking right now at 50. 20 years from now, this will be a problem because my legs are really heavy. It's the most solid point on me. I got long arms. They ain't really fucking big, but my calves and shit like that is fucking huge. Huge. And they're heavy as fuck. When I get older, that's going to be a problem. Yeah, they're strong. Tree trunks, yes. But the tree trunk you could lift in your 20s is not the tree trunk your ass want to be lifted in your 60s. It's not. All that big ass upper body weight and shit like that, yeah, it looks awesome through your 30s. It does. 50, 60, takes a lot to keep that shit on. And now you got to deal with the fact that that shit is going to start sagging. You're going to be out of the tank tops and putting on the long sleeve shirts. So you're not getting people looking at your ass like, man, that motherfucker look like a melting ice cream. Can't keep that shit forever, dude. That's the natural progression of things. You don't want to be carrying all that weight like that. Discipline, focus, good work ethic, and doing what the other guy won't do separates winners from losers. Yeah, all the time. And it could be something simple. As simple as getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning and working out. I can tell you this, starting your day with a workout is a good way to start your day. Mentally, you're more awake, especially if you were sweating, which is one of the things when I was working out a lot. And working out a lot was I was working out at least 5 days a week. 3 of them heavy, 2 of them light. Cognitively, you are more alert. You get more out of your day. You get more done. And And I would say for that time, I had less problems going to sleep. I would sleep and I would sleep like a fucking rock. Like the characters in Supercell, dude. I'd be. But when it came time to get up, I was up, alert. My brain was active already. I didn't need coffee to get my fucking brain started. No, my brain was ready. My body was ready. And everything that we did at work, because I worked concrete construction, commercial concrete construction, where if you know anything about that, everything is heavy and hard. Steel, excuse me, 4x6s, all heavy shit. Everything is fucking heavy. None of it felt that heavy once you got there and you'd already worked out that morning, man. It's just another part of this fucking workout. This shit. And I was already naturally pretty strong. So, no, I recognize the benefits of it. I tell you, I've told people this before that I couldn't even, at one point, I couldn't cross my arms across my chest. Me doing this, where y'all can't see it, me doing this was me crossing my arms across my chest. Me doing this would be my hand closed. That was my fist. Just touching these two fingers together was a closed fist. I know what I look like bulked up. Impressive. Look, Zid Jackson, man. I just left the gym. Like, I don't know where Black Bane at, but Black Bane, big ass in this bitch. Black Bane is massive by my standards. By my estimation, Black Bane is fucking massive. To be about the same height as me, too, that motherfucker is all this way and this way. Like, nigga. Well, I keep teasing him about that shit all the time. Not because I want him to stop, just because I want him to understand. You know, you're a big motherfucker already. You know that, right? Well, okay. Told his ass, like, when are you ever going to be attacked by elephants? When do you need to wrestle a rhinoceros? You're already bigger than most fucking people. You more trained than most people that ain't never been in the military. I think you'll be all right. I think you'll be all right. So what do I send them on Instagram? Fighting videos. People getting knocked out and shit. Just simple shit. Because he a big motherfucker. It's like, built like Charles. No. Anyway, shout out to Aaron. What's good, Aaron P? He said, shout out to artists in the Geek Culture chat. So I'm just bullshitting to get to what I was watching. Well, and what I was watching was the WWE Rivals. So if you have Hulu, it might show up on Disney too because it's the same shit. If you have it, I recommend checking it out. It's like 9 episodes in 2 seasons. And I think I'm finishing season 2 now. Because I was watching it last night. I turned that shit off at there was some chicks coming up. I think it was Sable and Trish. I turned it off at that point so I can go to sleep. It was damn near 1 o'clock. I needed some sleep. But that is what I've been watching instead of watching. That was one of the things I was watching. Instead of watching this shit in geekdom. I have not gone to see The Crow. Like I told, I've seen enough reviews from people I might actually trust to have not seen it yet. Because I'm trusting my instincts, right? More so than what people say. I'm trusting my instincts. My instincts are telling me, you don't want to go see that. Not if it's going to be bad. My body is not ready for that shit. I told somebody else that. We were making a joke about it. Like, I was working last week with HVAC Steven, right? I was joking about that shit. I said, man, it's like a bad breakup. I'm not ready to be back out there yet. The acolyte took it out of me. I'm not ready to be back. I'm not ready to be out there yet, man. I just need to be to myself and doing my healing work, work on me. I am not ready to watch anything terrible again. I'm not. This Rings of Power season 2 is out right now. I have not watched that shit. My note in my book is for the Crow reaction. Didn't see it. Not mad about it. Rings of Power season 2. Don't want to watch it. Don't want to. I have no desire. I'm listening to people like Nerdrotic who I would trust on the shit because they've read the material. He knows the material. He ain't happy watching that shit. I don't need to watch it. I really don't. I probably should watch it just to give my opinion on it. But my opinion is just going to be on the show. What I know of Lord of the Rings, not from this time period, because I don't know the second age like that, but just for what I'm seeing on the screen. And if it's that fucking bad, I don't want to watch it. I don't want to watch it. I don't. I'm serious. I'm having a reaction to like, I don't want to watch that, dude. My feelings gonna be hurt. I just can't. I just kind of purge my system of this poison. I'm not sure I want to watch that. I'm not ready. I ain't ready. No. It's like saying you got to go in and have surgery on your asshole. Well, I'm not ready for that yet. Is it really bad yet? No. Just 10%? Maybe I'll get back to you at 20. No, I'm not ready for that. I'm not. I don't want to watch it. I probably should for content on Patreon or whatnot, but I'm sure I can find something else worth watching to put on Patreon other than me being pissed off and cursing about watching Rings of Powers. I didn't like the first season. I'm not really interested in coming back for a round 2. No. Why? From what I'm hearing, they just ripping off Lord of the Rings anyway. The Peter Jackson stuff. I might as well just watch the Peter Jackson stuff again. Stop giving me your shitty work ripped off from better work. I'll just go watch the better work. How about that? I'm not interested in watching your shitty show. So I can see this gaggle of new girls club people showing up in House of the Dragon, Rings of Power, and the Acolyte and thinking they all need to do the same thing at the same time, like they cycles and synced up. No. I don't need that. I'm waiting for this stone to pass out the bowels of media. I am. That's what I'm waiting on. I'm waiting for this kidney stone to get flushed out the sphincter of Hollywood so we can be done with this shit and start the healing process. I don't want to watch it. I don't. Not even out of curiosity. And the more time goes on, the more funny I'm seeing that how serious, not just me seeing it, but my body is to being absolutely adverse to watching anything bad. Anything bad. Absolutely averse to it. I'm finding I can't even make myself watch this shit. Anything else but that. Now, the other geek news, since the Acolyte refuses to fucking die and go away, nobody will roll down the window in this car and let this fart dissipate behind us, is Amandla put out a video, yes, on Twitter, giving her feelings on what she thought about the cancellation. Now, I will say this. as annoying as she is, her regular voice sounds very feminine, childish. It almost sounds like a put on, like she's trying to emulate something that she's not. Now, beyond that, it was interesting to see. It was interesting to see her doing a video like we just having a voice chat with her girlfriend. You know, while you untwisting your hair and shit. Like, bitch, I don't want to see all that shit. Wow, you have fucking no regard. I guess the next thing is people just doing videos while they're sitting on the fucking toilet. Because that's the vibe that I got from it. She don't give a fuck about what she's doing right now. Did somebody tell you you just need to do this? Was it a directive? We need your response, Amanda. No, we don't. What up, Donnie Mac? Happy Sunday to you. You said you didn't want to talk about the fact that if what season 2 was going to be. Told y'all she already knew that show was canceled. That's why she's sitting up there unfazed. She already knew it was canceled. All this media campaign and shit that they doing about all these people are pissed off and established reviewers want to tell you how racist you are. And look, man, all of this shit is about two things and two things alone. Women can't be wrong. Certain women can't be wrong in an election. That is why this Muppet, this sock puppet, had the nerve to say that show was getting flamed because of the alt-right. Now, I can say this and sound really ignorant. I still really don't understand what the alt-right is, because for my language, when I hear alt-right, the alternative of right means left. I'm sorry, that's just me playing with words, right? Alternate right. Well, the alternate right is the left, right? This is my right. What's my alternate? Now, I know that's not the definition of the word. It's a political thing, right? Further right than right. Look, I told you before, I know who the conservatives are in this space. In geekdom, I know who they are. I know what radio shows they've been on and what their actual fucking names are, what their political views are. I don't necessarily give a shit. I just think people that listen to them should be aware of that shit. Some of them are out and proud about it. Some of them ain't saying shit about it. But if you listen to them, just like reading a newspaper, you can see their perspective come out. That's not why your fucking show went down, girl. That's not why. The writing of your show sucked ass. Now, maybe you don't get that because you were not recording these episodes in sequential order. You're not in the writing room process or the editing room to chop these episodes up and put them out as they were. But if you go back and watch that show from episode 1 to episode 8, you'll see the same things that everybody who flamed that shit did. You'll see the same stuff. Your character is wholly inconsistent. So much so, I thought you forgot what character you were playing at a point before the characters actually switched themselves. Because all of a sudden, OSHA started acting like May. And May started acting like OSHA. And then they switched back. Now, you might just be seeing words on the page. Because I don't think you watching the camera. We, as the audience, are watching the performance. The shit is inconsistent. Outright laughable at some points, cringe in other ones, and absolutely embarrassing on the whole. Like, oh my fucking God. That doesn't, oh my God, that doesn't make any goddamn sense. This is so stupid. I need the Jedi to come find me. Bloop. Then why you turn off where are you going? Oh, Braddock, right? Okay, no shit. Nobody could have figured that out. Fucking idiot. It was. I'm getting wound up talking about this shit. This is why I only want to watch good stuff, because every time I bring that shit up in my memory, I start getting fucking worked up. I felt the temperature on the skin of my body just rise by 4 degrees. I'm serious. I fucking felt it. My skin started getting hot. Telling you, I don't know. Maybe I'm breaking out in hives. Fucking hell. Doctor's orders. You need 6 months of recovery from ages. Awful geek entertainment syndrome. That's a good one, Malika. Shout out to Malika for that one. Yeah, I'm suffering from ages. Ages disease. Yeah, you should put 2 A's in that shit. Awful acolyte geek entertainment syndrome. Oh my God, it's an affliction. Ugh. It is. Your show sucks, sweetie. Yeah, Donnie Mac like, woosah. Look, Donnie Mac, my purge is the curse. That's my purge. That's the vent. You hold so much stuff in, it will make you crazy. It will hurt your body. But if you yell, curse, get it out, it's expelled. Your body releases that tension. That's why I don't feel bad about cursing so much. I just get embarrassed when I, want people to turn on to my stream and it's like, oh, you do a live stream? It's like, yeah, you probably wouldn't like it. Oh, I heard your live stream. Like, oh shit, you did? What did you hear? Like, it makes me feel some kind of way. I do love curse words though. But watching that video and listening to her talk, she does sound a little hurt, but it's inconsequential. She got her money. She got paid for that shit already. The show being canceled just means that she doesn't have to do any more promotional material for that shit. And she's probably relieved of that. Now, I can agree with her on a point that the hatred for this show came out initially right in the beginning from announcement. You're right. It did. But it wasn't because you was attached to that shit. It's because the director was. The person getting put in charge of this shit was. Because your producer was putting it out. And I heard somebody report on the same thing I did. Initially, this show was never really talked about for what the story was about, meaning they didn't have one. All they wanted to keep telling you about this show was how diverse it was. And every time I hear that, I know it's some shit I probably don't want to be watching. Because you lead with your strongest selling point, right? If story was their strongest selling point, they would have been telling you about the story first, but they didn't. What they told you about is going to be all women and it's going to be super diverse. It means you ain't got a fucking story. There's all women in porn. They at least still tell you what it's about. And they don't make it good because it's just all women in it. The Acolyte was a shitty show. I'm mad I even watched it. before I started this stream, I had to remove content that I've done to make more room to do this stream. And you know what's still on that little save reel for StreamYard? All these fucking Acolyte episodes. I want to delete them. You know why? Because they fucking sucked. I don't want to be reminded of it. But the problem is, because I linked that to my Patreon, I don't know if deleting it here will delete it from fucking Patreon. So it's still sitting on this bitch, sucking up space in my mind and on my computer's memory, or at least the app's memory. That's how bad the show was. And honestly, if you understand Hollywood sometimes, these actors don't even watch this shit when it's finished. They don't. Why do you think they show up to the premieres? Just for the photo ops? This is the first time they usually see the shit all together because they film it out of order. They don't know what it's going to look like afterwards. They just know the scene that we're concentrating on. Wow, this could be epic. They show up to the theater to see it just like you did. And when they see it all together, like, wow, that's how that turned out? That could have been a lot different. That's not how I thought it would go. So knowing that, she probably ain't even watched this season of this shit. The other reason I say that is because of the shit that comes out of her mouth of why she thinks people dislike it. You're obviously not watching the people's content who are complaining about it, which you should. So you would know what points they're crazy about what they didn't like about your fucking show. And the only thing they have to say about you ain't your fucking color. Because believe it or not, some of these white boys will probably want to fuck you because you're kind of cute. But what they don't like is your wooden ass acting. Your blank face, no emotive ass. You killed her mother? Get the fuck out of here, man. That's the only thing they had to say about that shit. I know, I listened. Outside of, I watched it. I know why I don't like the shit. It wasn't because it was all women in the shit. Look, a party with all women sounds like a party I want to be at. It ain't because it was all women. It ain't because it was one behind the camera. It's not because there was one in the writing room. I don't give a fuck. So what? Is it any good? It wasn't. And that's why I dislike it. Aside from the insults to the creator of the fucking world, the intention to go in and destroy what he created and remake it in your image. Fuck you. No. And even knowing that, I still gave you a chance. I still watched every fucking episode of that damn show. Have you? Amandla? No. Probably haven't. You probably should. Then you'd shut your mouth and stop digging a hole for the furthering of your career. Try that. Because every time you open your mouth, it is not going well. You need to be one of those actors that never do interviews. Stop. In front of any franchise. Andor checked off the DEI box and the Acolyte was trying to sell. No, I said that too, Donnie Mac. It was lesbians in Andor. They were better written characters. One of them is kind of cute. Didn't matter. Didn't affect the story. Didn't fuck it up like, oh my God, here we go with this lesbian shit. No, that wasn't it at all. I actually liked those characters. It didn't seem like it was done for a put on, just to say we did some shit. Fake asses. That's why this is how you know most of the complaints these people have that worked on this show that they have against the fan base is all projections. They're not real fans. Yeah, we are. That's why we can tell you that this ain't right. You're not a real fan. That's why you're doing it so fucking wrong. They don't know Star Wars. Yes, we do. You don't know Star Wars. That's why you're doing this dumb shit. That makes no sense. And we're saying that's not Star Wars. Projections. That's why I can't listen. That's why I always have a hard time understanding why people listen to these folks say this shit and then repeat it and be all upset about it. It's like, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about, right? It's like arguing with idiots on Facebook about geek shit. Why do I want to waste my time doing that? I tell Black Bane that shit all the time. I don't want to go over there and do that shit. Let they ass live a long life being wrong as fuck. No. My kids are grown. I've raised them already. I don't need to be raising nobody else's kids. No. Especially if they're willfully ignorant. The shit that they say can be easily debunked by reading 2 pages out of one book. No. That reaction to Acolyte is exactly what I had watching a certain part of Monkey Man. How did you fuck this up? What did I just see? My heart, my blood pressure. Yeah, Rainfire. Some of this, look, man, I am a passionate geek. I really care about geekdom, right? On the whole. And it doesn't matter what part it is. I really care about this shit. And because it is a part of me. I see it as a part of me at this point, right? To see how many different sides of geekdom have been dragged down because of this shit is heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. I had to really catch myself and think about how long it's been since I actually bought a comic book. I actually bought a comic and read a comic book. Most of what I know about what's going on in comics right now is coming from listening to Comics Explained, listening to Rob, and feeling at this point, because I was doing it the other day where he was going over the story about Avengers versus the Xenomorphs. It's a recent story. Like, Rob still gets to read comics? That's awesome. I'm fucking jealous. This sounds really good. I guess I got to buy the trade somewhere. That shit is disappointing for me. It sounds like such a weird fucking thing that I do not have a comic book. I am the comic guy that people know for my friend group and shit. I bought one recently. That's bad because it's gone bad. I ain't answering that shit. So, for me, a lot of these areas in geekdom have been taken over and ruined. I mean, I play Magic the Gathering, and I was sitting there taking account of how many planeswalkers now. They're either look very much asexual or they're just women. They don't make a lot of male planeswalkers anymore. They don't. The advertisements. Oh shit, JT. Look, you even make comics, nigga. You're a writer. A comic book writer who makes his own comics. You ain't read one recently. Shit. Gotta be bad. Gotta be a tough time, man. Gotta be a tough time. But even in Magic the Gathering, it has gone so femme, I don't even find it interesting anymore. I mean, I can play it for hours on my phone, but that's not Arena. I'm playing fucking basically Puzzle Quest with Magic the Gathering mapped onto it. Hold on 1 second so I can cuss this motherfucker out. I don't know if you guys noticed it or not, but stupidity really upsets me quickly. There is no better way to get my fucking hackles up than doing things without thought. Oh, and wasting my fucking time. It gets me really upset really quickly. So as Dottie Mac said earlier, I'm trying to woos out that shit right now. And now I'm back. He said, I used to write comics. You still write comics. Don't be giving that shit up. I'll kick you in your tall ass. When do you actually consider it not writing comics? When you don't sit down and write some shit, or when you don't have ideas? If my mind actively still thinks about that shit, I'm still doing it. Still doing it. The hard part, the part that takes time, is putting ideas to paper or electrons, arranging electrons on the screen. But the ideas are always there. I had a whole, when I get time to just have creative ideas uninterrupted, I had a whole story outline in my head that I wanted to put down, and I didn't because I was in the middle of work as I did it. But usually that's what my cell phone and my little notes app in my phone is for, writing down those stories, writing down those story ideas. Still there in my head. I just didn't write it down, so it was fragmented. Because I'm not somebody bereft of thoughts. I get a lot often. I hate phones with a passion. There are always somebody's problems on the other end. I barely talk on the phone. Malika and JT both in here. They know. I will text you before I have a phone conversation with you. Why? Because I'm usually busy doing some other shit. And I grew up on talking on the phone. Just how times have changed, and you change with the times. I don't have privacy to have a private conversation most of the time. So I'm not having a bunch of phone conversations. But you shoot me a text, I can respond to that shit because it's private. I'm in a place right now, I can't even sit down and eat food without people wanting to ask me 20 questions about what I'm eating and where I got it from. Like, God damn, can I just eat? Fuck. Too nosy. Mind your business. God damn. You need a full report? Or can I give one after I've eaten? Take a shit. Rainfire, we all float down here. I used that joke this week too. I used that joke this week on Friday. was doing my inspections, and I came to this court, and there was a team out there working on the drains. Right, they're doing suction on the drain, so I guess they're trying to get the leaves and shit out of there because we're about to hit the rainy season out here. Right, we got all these goddamn pine needles and I guess maple trees or whatever. The streets will be flooded out here. Okay, so they're going through with the damn outhouse suction machine and they sucking out these drains. And I pull up to park my van and this dude is laying on the ground and his arm is in this hole. And he's just laying there and I'm looking at him and I had an idea. I had an idea for a joke. So he stood up and got out, moved the truck, and his buddy went to the other one at the other end of the court and was sticking his hand in some shit down there. And the first guy was coming back towards me and said, "Man, I thought it got you at first." Thought they'd teach you how to float down there. They help him. They try to teach him how to float. And he just laughed because he knew exactly what the fuck I was talking about, right? He just laughed about the shit. But that's the fun that you can have with random fucking strangers if you got a fucking personality and a sense of humor. So yeah, we all float down here. I had to. It was worse buying it and selling it. I remember I sat here at this job, at this table, and I was ordering comics for the store. And I had ordered about $5,000 worth of product for the store, just comics and shit, right? And I remember it coming in and putting it out on the shelf and sitting there thinking about, I didn't read none of that shit. None of it. I just spent $5,000 on it. I ain't read none of it because none of it is any good. Some people bought some of it. A lot of it was sitting on the shelf. And I'm buying low numbers. 10 of this, 5 of that, you know. It's mostly the motherfucking variant covers that fucking killed it and drove up the price on it. But it wasn't good. Just flipping through some of it and trying to see what the story was on it, it wasn't really good. They charged a lot of money for some shit that's not good. So I was thinking about this week. I think me and Gary from Neurotic would have a good conversation because JT knows this. Neurotic actually worked at a comic book store in the city, in San Francisco. JT knows because he worked at the same fucking store. And you understand it from a different side of it when you have been a consumer and then you are a seller of this stuff. There's a different side of the game you're on when you're a retailer selling the stuff out. You have a different appreciation for how good or bad it actually is. Because as a consumer, you can walk down the comic book aisle, pick a book up off the shelf, flip through it, read it a little bit, say, man, this is fucking garbage. This is garbage. The art on here looks like shit. This story is ass. You know what? Fuck this. Put it back on the shelf and walk the fuck away. Buy something else. As a retailer, as a seller, you did buy that shit. And it's bad. You bought it though. You've already paid for it. It's sitting on your shelf. It's inventory in your computer system. It's stock for you. You have to recoup your money on it some kind of way. So you either find somebody to sell this shit to that don't know what a good story is, bag it up in a grab bag, some kind of shit that you can get your money back off of that bitch. Or strip the cover and try to send it back to the warehouse, to the editor, like, hey, man, this shit didn't sell. Give me my fucking money back. You can wait for that shit for possibly get some credit on your account, but you still got to buy for the next month. Seeing it from that side is disappointing and it's fucking upsetting if the shit is not good. Because you, as the retailer, pay up front. A lot of times you won't even have a cover picture for what this story is going to be, what the comic looks like. We got 5 different covers. Well, where's the picture of the covers? Image not available. Motherfucker. Look, how do I know if I even want this cover? Oh, it's art by Azzarello. Okay, that might be good. What's this other one by? Oh, it's art by so-and-so. Who the fuck is that? How much is the issue? Oh, it's $1 or $2 more than the other one. Well, fuck you. Put a picture up. just stories from being a retailer and having to sell this shit. It's a different side of the game than just having to buy it. Because you're buying it regardless. So that's why I understand that some of the shit that the angst that you would have with it, you only get from people who are on that side of it. To link it back to that WWE rival show, that's why I like seeing those wrestlers sitting up there and not in character, being themselves, talking about this shit, because you get a different side of it from people who actually have to go in the ring and do this shit. Not what you kind of figured out from watching the interview and shit. No, they're telling you what the fuck it was from the locker room. Oh, no, we were sitting there watching that shit. No, they really didn't like each other. Oh, we knew. Yeah, when that motherfucker came in, he was on one. Different experience. And only people who've been on that side of it can actually relate to it in that way. JT had a whole different experience or different respect for me working in the comic shop and then owning it once he started working in the comic shop. When he started working in the comic shop, he totally understood. He totally understood some things and was able to say, yeah, I see that in my store too, but your store, that side of the bay, y'all got something different in the water over there. Something way different in the water over there. Them people are strange in strange areas. They're strange. Something is different. You're right. It is. Creator, seller, convention exhibitor, convention founder. You've seen it all. Yeah. You the reason that like Jeezy made that song. I'd have seen it all. Yes. And a consumer. Just a buyer of the shit. Just a fan of it. For this person right here in the chat who's hit damn near every level of geekdom just for comic books. How do you think this person feels when he sees something really bad? JT watched the Acolyte too. Far as I know. Ugh. Motherfucker. He pulled the comic book geek hat trick. It hurts your heart. It hurts your heart. Yeah, 4 covers, 2 minutes. Motherfucker. Marvel is notorious for that shit now. That order I was telling y'all about, 5K, most of that shit was Marvel variant covers. That's a real life story. Not having images for the shit, that's a real life story. That's what was so frustrating about that shit. I don't even know what this fucking cover looks like. Oh, God damn it. But you got to cover your bases. And you know what I know? After that shit showed up 3 months later, some of that shit didn't even sell. The story wasn't any good. Costing me money. Buying 5 to 6 variant covers. The one you don't like is the one that goes up in value because the one you don't like is the one they didn't make much of and people didn't buy. That's why it went up in value, because it's always about supply and demand. The most valuable comic I've seen was not the best looking cover. You know which one it was? It was a Deadpool cover. One per comic shop cover. Which means every comic shop in the nation only got one. Period. That motherfucker was expensive. The day it came out, it was expensive. Because it's so limited. But some people think a Death of Superman comic is still worth money. No, it's not. You know why? Because there's shitloads of them all over the fucking place. Tell you what, go into every comic book store, find their Death of Superman covers, buy them bitches, take them outside and burn them. And maybe by the end of the year, yours will be worth something. Too much supply never makes anything valuable. It's more women than men. Do you think pussy is valuable? No. Dick is. Because it's the only thing you ain't making more of. Exactly. Scarcity is value. Diamonds aren't valuable because they're everywhere. Gold is not valuable because it's everywhere. Oil is not valuable because it's fucking everywhere. It's because it's scarce. That's what gives it value. Think Sam liked the pussy comment. Yeah, dick is valuable. And since Sam in here laughing at that shit, Black Bane, since he's sitting here laughing at that shit, I'll tell him this one specifically. Your ass is valuable. You personally. Why? You can shoot. You can fight in multiple disciplines. You know how to control yourself. You've bounced. You can drive tractor trailers. Nigga, that's valuable. Any scrawny bitch would love to have you there. Because you're an intimidating fucking sight. And now you like whiskey and cigars too. With your fucking Bass Reeves cowboy hat. Malika, you would enjoy this. Fucking Black Bang got a cowboy hat, a black cowboy brim. That motherfucker look like Bass Reeves. Big ass Bass Reeves, but Bass Reeves. And wear it proudly. Like, I'm jealous. You, sir, are rare. Any chick you pick, probably not rare. Probably not. You can find somebody just like her in the same place you found her ass. That doesn't give it value. But what she can't replace is you. That makes you rare. Ain't nobody cut that way. About to be 48 and still at it. I can't believe you that damn old. I knew this motherfucker since he was like 20 something, y'all. I'm an old nigga. Like you said, hard work and dedication. Yeah, you put it in. You put the work in. I never doubted. That's why I joke with you about that shit, because I'm not trying to be that damn big and lift that much. I don't see the point in it for me personally. I don't. But goddamn, man. Slow clap. Variant comic covers of the 90s were the blight of the industry. Exactly. That's why the industry was going under. Too much stock. Bass Reeves Swole, great grandson. Yeah, no shit. No shit. Bass Reeves Swole ass grandson, man. I'm a Lone Ranger out this bitch. With whiskey and ciggies, nigga. I knew Death of Superman would never go up when the guy in line next to me was buying one for his 1 year old, talking about paying for his college. I just bought it. No. You know how much I would sell in the shop today? You could probably find it. Maybe. A Death of Superman still in the plastic would probably run you $5, nigga. $5 to $10. Bet money. Bet. Ain't worth shit. Why? They made too many of them. Because they were more worried about making the money at that moment. So they overproduce. And it's just the nature of comics in some ways that they want, if they got something hot, they want to keep giving it to you as many times as they fucking can. Because they want to make that money so they can go on and be able to sell comics again to you next month, the next year, or whatever. But in the long game, you fuck up the market where it will never be valuable again. It won't be cover price again because you produce too much. It's like our money. With all this inflation and shit like that, why is your money is costing so much for you to buy certain things? Because your money is fucked up. The value of it is screwed up because of the oversaturation, the constant running off another 100 million and shit. It's not making it valuable anymore. That means it takes more of it to do simple things. Check your exchange rates and shit. You'll see? Yeah. But like, share, subscribe, support the stream if you feel so inclined. What's the other thing I got up here? I will talk about one good show that I watched last week that I finished out. Okay? Because I did watch some good television, I told you. WWE Rivals was one thing that I watched. The other thing I watched the first half of the week from Sunday on was Batman the Caped Crusader. I really liked that. It was fun. And strangely cerebral in some ways. Now, for what can seem very troubling in this, and I talked about it last week, is that Batman the Caped Crusader is done by Bruce Timm, J.J. Abrams, Matt Reeves, and Ed Brubaker, right? A lot of producers on this one little deal. Now, the fact that J.J. Abrams is attached to it can be troubling for some people. Because you know how J.J. get down. The fact that Bruce Timm did it, but most of the stuff in this is kind of counter to established Batman lore could be troubling too. If and only if you take this as being main Batman canon, or see this show as a continuation of Batman the Animated Series because Bruce Timm is doing it. It is not either of those. It's not in main continuity, and it's not a continuation of Batman the Animated Series. So because of that, I can watch this show and accept it just as it is. It is its own little offshoot. And this side doing its own little thing. And I enjoy what I saw in this shit. It was really interesting. It was. Now, does it have modern day sensibilities? Yeah, that you got, frumpy Harley Quinn. You got full body boss bitch Renee Montoya. She's a detective looking like a bloated Carmen Sandiego walking around this shit. And kind of a lesbian. Okay. Whatever the fuck. I could see that out in the real world, but I guess, my escapism can't be escapism into better things. It got to just be escapism into another version of the real world. All right, so fucking what? Got bloated chicks in the real world. I can turn here and see bloated chicks too. Whatever, fuck. Everybody feels represented except for me. I didn't mind the show. It was interesting. And that's why I say I dare say fun, but it was cerebral because this show was serious. People was getting capped left and right in this show. I mean, straight up shot. Like, goddamn, they killing people. Barbara Gordon in this shit got a kill count, man. I'm serious. For that 40s style with some modern tech thrown in there, Barbara Gordon is not Batgirl. Barbara Gordon got some kills notched up. She didn't kill some folks. And spoiler alert, which shouldn't be a spoiler because when he was created, he initially had a pistol. Batman pulls a gun on somebody and bucks some shots at him. Like, oh shit, it got real. That was a good show. I don't feel any hackles, no sense of oh, this is some DEI book. I don't feel none of that shit about it. It was very interesting. Harley Quinn was interested in being not the traditional Harley Quinn that Bruce Timms created, because she didn't exist in the comic books before until Batman the Animated Series. He gave you a different version of Harley Quinn. There's an Asian one. Yeah. She got the name Harleen Quinzel. Yeah, she does. She's an Asian chick. And she kind of, fluffy. She's kind of fluffy. But she ain't out there acting all maniacal. Oh, she's doing some devious shit, but it's psychological in what she's doing. She's monotone as fuck, which makes her seem really goddamn crazy. And she's torturing people psychologically and having other people do it and doing things just to please her. They would do it just to please her. I was like, that was fucking genius, dude. That's some devious shit right there. That's some devious shit. That's a mind fuck for you. No, she don't wear the red and blue. She got green and yellow on. Yeah, she still wear a costume. But you like, this bitch is crazy. Oh, no. Her wild side is in the real world. That criminal side is that, oh, you're going to disappoint me. If you don't do this, I will kill you. That Harley Quinn was scary. Scary as shit. And not because she was out there beating people in the head with a fucking comical mallet. No. She was kind of scary because that was too controlled. Something wrong with her. Yeah, this Gotham City PD, these motherfuckers is corrupt. I'm serious. These cops is murderers on the force. Names that you know and love on the force. Dirty as the day is long, man. Dirty as fuck. I was like, these are just some fucking killers. These are murderers with badges. Bruh, Batman too new to catch them. And the thing of it is, some people knew. Some people knew they was dirty. Couldn't do shit about it. I'm like, man, why are there not vacancies all through Gotham? You're right, Malika. The villains were compelling and intriguing. They were. Clayface was intriguing as fuck. Intriguing as fuck. Two-Face. That was tragic and mournful at the same time. Like, oh man. this is kind of fucked up. He gonna have a complete mental break. Two-Face was tragic. You end up feeling for that motherfucker. You right, Rainfire. Batman training day. Yeah, no shit. It's like year 2 or something for him. It's like that. It's like, and the fun beats in it. These are some of the fun beats because I have notes. All right, but here are some of the fun beats in it. I'm forgetting the name of this episode, but one of you guys in here who watched it could put the name of the episode in the chat. It's the episode with the carnival, right? And the girl that's there, spoilers, kind of sucking the life force out of people, right? Who was that first boy that she got to go back to that little gypsy carriage? Who's the first kid that she got to go back there with her? It was little Dickie. It was Dick Grayson. He wearing the colors and everything. First Robin. Who was the boy that was with him? It was like, no, maybe we shouldn't go, Dickie. Jason Todd, the second Robin. Now, they're not Robins, but the characters are represented there because it's a different universe. These kids are orphans. Who was the next kid that went there? Stephanie. Stephanie who? Stephanie Brown. Really? You don't say. That shit was fun. They were all Robins. Now, they weren't Robins in this universe. They weren't. But certain things that you saw, they were wearing the colors. They had the names. You knew who the fuck they were if you know Batman lineage, right? That's fun. They didn't have to be Robins for me to understand who the hell those kids were. I said, that's Dick Grayson. Oh, this is fun. Stephanie. I'm sorry, man. I can help you find her. What's her name? Stephanie Brown. I was like, spoiler. Like, it was just fun for me. I know the Batman shit, which is why I say I don't need origins. You don't have to do things exactly the same way to get me to understand what the hell's going on. If I'm initiated already to the Batman lore, legacy characters and stuff like that, you ain't got to put it in the same order. Throw it in there. I get it. My brain will organize it. I got it. But for other people, they won't know that shit at all. And that'll make it fun for them if they actually go back and read the original material. They'll find out who all those kids were. They'll make the connection like, oh, wait a minute. This is supposed to be Dick Grayson? Oh, I get it now. The only annoying part is people that don't know anything about the comics who watch this shit first, thinking this is what Batman Origins is, they'll have a hard time accepting the comic books. That's the only problem. Because modern day people don't go back and read shit. And then old bastards like me got to argue with them like, hey, that show wasn't a sequel, okay? It was a knockoff. A one-off. That's not how it went. No, but I saw it in this show that this is where Dick Grayson came from. No, that's... How do we explain multiple universes to people who don't fucking read? That's the only annoying part. You will argue with somebody about that shit later on. Otherwise, it was entertaining. Yeah, Nocturne. Thank you. Nocturne was the name of the episode. Because when I initially saw it, that chick looking, standing up there looking like Wednesday Addams, I'm like, is this supposed to be Raven? Is this supposed to be Raven? I said, Dickie, that looked like Dick Grayson. Is she supposed to be Raven? Took him to some dark room. I was like, is it Raven? Is this a Teen Titans tie-in? What the fuck? Something different. So it was fun. Yeah, I'm like it's like fan service. It's like a fan service episode. But them kids ain't doing shit. They're not even part of the main story. They're just victims. But if you know Batman's character, you know who the hell they are. And that's what makes it fun. You can play with it a little bit. This is where in a small way, I can agree with some of what KK and Leslie Headland have to say about Star Wars in terms of George Lucas. The part I can agree with is George Lucas didn't create all of Star Wars. Other people have come along and put some really good stuff in the Star Wars. Hence Timothy Zahn. But because of that, I will not disrespect George Lucas and say all roads don't go through him. Well, he made the whole universe that other people came and made characters in. So, yes, it does. I will never disrespect him on that. It doesn't mean you can't play in this world and create some things. But it does mean you owe him respect. And you don't change the superstructure of what he built. Because that's not you. You didn't make it. So that's the point at which I can agree and the point where I can disagree. I'm not changing the structure of what he built. I can play inside of it, but I'm not changing the structure of what he built. This Batman the Cape Crusader show, Bruce Timm built the structure, which is how to make Batman on this black paper and stuff like that and make it this interesting thing. Matt Reeves, Ed Brubaker, J.J. Abrams, they played in that world that was created by Bob Kane, and I'm forgetting the original artist. That is the Batman universe. And plucking those characters in there at different points that other people may have created made it fun, but it's not in the same way. That's what makes it interesting to me and worth a watch, as opposed to I'm just going to mangle this original material and tell you this is just what it is now. Oh, Bob Kane got it wrong. You know what the fuck he's talking about. No. Yeah, Easter eggs for fans of the franchise. Exactly. That's how fan service is done right. If you're watching that in the theater, you might be laughing at it, Aquateki, but the person next to you be looking like, what the fuck is he laughing about? If they asked you, you could tell them. Oh, that's the original Robin. Is it? Well, not here, but yeah, that's the original Robin's real identity. Oh man, that's awesome. I feel sorry for the kids getting introduced through the Harley Quinn and Kite Man cartoons. They're entertaining, but they're way off canon. Black Band has tried to get me to watch the Harley Quinn show forever. I have not. Even though people say it's pretty funny. Well, yeah. A lot of shit is pretty funny. I don't watch all of it. I just don't feel the need to. It's something about it that doesn't sit with me correctly. I think it was because they tried to introduce a lot more sex and stuff like that into it. And I'm like, I'm not interested in that. I'm not watching this shit for sex. I'm a grown-up. I have sex. I don't need to watch it. But whatever. What else does the show have going for it besides lewd jokes and mangling of Batman as a character? That's what I've heard. Look, here's JT saying, no, Harley Quinn show is actually good. That's what I've heard. I just haven't had really a desire to watch it. The Expanse was good too. Still ain't watched all of that. I think I've watched 2 episodes of it. No, 4 episodes. 4 episodes. I ain't finished it, haven't gone back to it. and I was interested. There's certain stuff don't grab me like that. That's why it says I don't watch everything. I don't watch everything. I've watched a lot, but I don't watch everything. No, those writers deserve to get paid. That's always a better thing to do. That if they actually earn the money that they were paid, then that's awesome. If they just got paid and writing was shit, you'd be wondering, where's my money? Where's my money? FYI, the photographer Eel O'Grady in the show is the identity of Plastic Man. Is he? I didn't catch that one. I don't know Eel. Wait a minute, though. Plastic Man, is that his alternate identity? Because he was a criminal at one point originally. I might have missed that. There's a lot of stuff in there that snuck in like that. That if you don't know the character, like I don't know this character. I can't think of this character's name, but at one point in the show, criminals put a hit out on Gordon, and they call in some hitters from out of town. And the main guy that comes with these dudes from out of town, the little hit squad, he has a mask, a black mask on with circles around it. And I was thinking this should be Deadshot. Never say who the hell he is. Never say his name or anything like that. But he only speaks in like sound effects. So he'll say pow, he'll say smash or some shit like that. But what he's doing, but he don't say anything otherwise. I don't know who the fuck that was. Cool, but I don't know who the character was. I don't recall who the hell this person is. And I didn't look it up. Onomatopoeia? Onomatopoeia? He's an onomatopoeia man? Is that what you're saying? Oh, he's a creation of Kevin Smith? Well, that figures. Fucking Kevin. God damn it. Yeah, I wasn't aware of that character. It's pretty much toilet humor and lots of violence. It's like Batman South Park mashup. Just turn your mind off like Sister Sage and enjoy the ride. I'm not lobotomizing myself to enjoy shit. If I got to be stupid to enjoy it, then it's stupid for me to watch it because I always follow the idea stupid is as stupid does. Oh, shit. Anyway, that's almost 3 hours. Let me drop this in there. I got more of this show out than I thought I would, given that I'm on call. But what else could I say on this? I put a note in here about OWLC. OWLC. What does OWLC mean? Overweight lesbians of color. Because that's basically what you had in the show for their part in it. Yeah, overweight lesbians. Okay, it's the real world. They ain't all hot chicks. Trust me, they're not all hot, slim, fembots. No, they're not. Yeah, that was Deadshot. I must have missed that one too. Because the characters are there. If you know their names, they're there for fans, right? But it's different. It's just a little different. But it's a really good show. Look, it's gritty. And I don't know. I was really invested when I got to the last episodes. I was really invested. That's why I said the Two-Face story was so tragic because it happens at the end. The last 2-3 episodes is about Two-Face. This shit is tragic as fuck. And it's taken really seriously. That's why people are getting killed flat out. It's not, oh, we saw a murder. Nope. People got murdered. You saw it. Might not have been any blood, but you saw it, motherfucker. They done. Done, son. So that was the extent outside of what else did I watch this week? I think I watched Taken and some other stuff that was just good because that's what I've been doing. When I had time and I was at home, that's what I was doing outside of, league. So link is in the chat if you want to jump up here. FCCLL, aka Fat Chick Coochie Les. Fucking hell. I just said overweight, plus size, women of color, lesbians of color, the P plus community. But you want to come up? I got about 20-30 minutes on this before I shut it down and go to get something else to eat because I woke up way too early and have not eaten enough calories yet. Excuse me. Well, while you guys working that out, the link is in there. Can I go in 2 minutes? Yeah, I'll have to clip this out later. Excuse me for a minute while I go handle a little bit of business. Be right back. Thank you guys for being patient. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Anyway, that's all I got for today. I am taking some suggestions on good stuff to watch. If I happen to watch Rings of Power, you will hear my cries out in the wild. You will definitely get a reaction to them. I don't know what day the show comes on. I think it's Thursday. Otherwise, I will be watching other stuff. I will. I'm going to finish. I know I'm going to finish out Rivals today sometime. And then I'm going to move on to something else. Probably Outer Range. Because that looks interesting to me. And I might want to review that, if not something else, because my motto used to be, if it's bad, not to watch it, so it'll go away. But I do a channel talking about some of this shit, and the bad stuff is all in geekdom now. So it's kind of tough to have to watch that shit and actually talk about it. This channel does not generate that way, or it's not big enough to generate that way. So I'm reluctant to want to watch a bunch of bad shit just because I have to watch it and I have to invest in it. So there is no ROI on that. But with that, unless you guys got some questions or anything like that, I might go ahead and get out of here. I got 6 minutes left. We got 6 minutes. 6 minutes left to ride this funk, to separate the good stuff from the junk. Gosh, oh god, because I can go into talking about this relational shit with people that I was thinking about the other day, but it was more in keeping for PMDM than it was, geek talk. Even though relationship stuff is what I geek out on as well. It's just really interesting. It was interesting observation. But I got 6 minutes. I got 6 minutes. I can throw it in there. Beast, oversized box eaters. Of suspect ethnicities would be better. Rolls off the tongue better. Yeah. But regardless, outside of the overweight lesbians of color, um, Cape Crusader is a good show. If you haven't watched it, give it a watch. It's on Amazon Prime. It's a good watch. I'm serious. It's a good watch. The lesbian shit is not front and center. You just end up finding out. It's in the storytelling that goes along. You just end up being revealed. It's not the mainstay. They didn't pivot the whole show to talking about this and start bitching about, oh, you're not being represented. I'm not being seen. They didn't do that shit. It's just in there. You kind of understand what's going on if you live in a real world, but it's not completely taken away from the story that's happening at all. It's not the main thing for the fucking character. It's just something. Nothing? No. I guess I'm gonna go over and watch the Angry Man. Well, thank you guys for showing up today. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Enjoy your holiday weekend, the labors of the day. It is the first month. Oh shit. See, every time I want to go, now you show up. What up, JT?
Yo, what's up?
Fuck, I can't hear you.
Oh,
I gotta switch mics. Hold on 1 second.
yeah, there it is.
Yeah, emergency call. 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what's good, JT? Sorry.
Yeah, you good. What was the level of stupidity?
I have to get there in 30 minutes.
Mm,
It is a water leak in an upstairs bathroom that is now leaking through to the laundry room
mm,
because there's a leak somehow miraculously under the sink. And I have to tell the guy, he doesn't know where the leak is coming from, but I have to tell him to turn off the water valves under the sink. He doesn't know what that is.
mm,
And I have to describe to him what angle stops under a sink look like. Since he already told me he looked under the sink to find water.
mm.
Turn these two fucking valves off so it could stop leaking water. And so it's just irritating because the water leak ones are always upstairs, which means it's in for electrical and drywall work if it's been going on for a while. And the people here sometimes are so inept that they let shit go forever before they finally call you.
Yep, sounds about right.
Yeah. So, oh, it's a leak. And then you get there and it looks like 2 months worth of leaking. Like,
Mm,
you didn't notice it before? Oh, no, I just noticed it just now. No, you didn't. This thing had just all happened today. Fucking hell, dude. So I actually do have to go immediately now. I guess my instincts were telling me to go ahead and oh shit, I forgot to clock out. Ugh, fuck. I forgot to clock out for the last work order I did. Fucking dick. Dumbass. See, if I done my own dumb shit, that shit has been for hours. At least 3 or 4 hours. And I have to correct that time now. Fuck. Yeah, so it's just when I wanted to get off and go grab something to eat, now I get a call for something that's going to be a little bit more involved. It's going to be a lot involved.
mm.
Steve. So, what you got, real quick? Because now I really do got to show.
Yeah, no, I just figured I'd just hop on and just say what's up. But yeah,
What's
you
up?
actually got shit to do now.
Yeah, now I actually got shit to do,
Yeah.
which is fine. I was kind of enjoying the fact that I got to do a whole stream without being interrupted,
Mhm.
except for one phone call I had to take. But it's not hooked up. But now I actually have to hustle and get somewhere, and the call that comes in is an emergency call, so I have to go take care of that now. So good seeing you, homie. You kicking back? I'm sure you got a free weekend, huh?
Yeah, man. Last night hung out with the boys. Like I said in the chat, we went to a Star Wars burlesque show,
Oh, I didn't see that in the chat.
which
What the
was
fuck?
I joked, I said it was better than the Acolyte.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. I saw that. I think I got an advertisement for that burlesque
Mm,
show. That might be interesting.
yeah, that was kind of fun. A little short. I was like, oh, like that's it. Okay,
That was brief.
a little bit, but it was cool.
Okay, cool. It was in the city, obviously, right?
Yeah, it was in the city
Yeah,
here.
of course, it was in the city. Star Wars burlesque show. That could be fun, unless they had fucking Wookiees up there.
There was one Wookiee. There was one Wookiee.
Yuck. She furry out the bottom or what?
No, I wasn't even like that.
Thank you. Thank you. The last burlesque show I went to, I got a different feel off the chick that I went with. I went with her because we were friendly. And then we get to the show. It was up in Sebastopol. We get to the show, and her friend is like the MC of the show. But one of the chicks that came out, I was feeling her. Apparently, she was kind of feeling me or something like that, right? I was like, damn, I like this little Asian chick. And so when we went to sit down, that show was over, and we're all sitting out there talking on the patio and shit like that. The girl that I went with, that we were just supposed to be supposedly friends, we ain't did shit or anything. She started hugging all up on me and trying to grab my hand and shit like that. What the fuck is this bitch doing? I'm trying to get at this. She fucking up my game with this Asian shit. So I had talked to somebody else about that shit before and understood that she was trying to claim her territory. I said, I ain't none of her goddamn territory. She don't want to fuck me. But this chick seemed like she do. Fuck you, trying to salt my goddamn game up for.
Now she's like, nah, oh, somebody else wants you now. Now, no, now
I what the fuck is that about?
What you talking about?
He did nothing but kiss me. Oh, fuck, that ain't nothing. Shit. I'm not in grade school. Kissing don't mean shit to me right now. It's entertaining, but it's just, the fuck does that mean? Nothing. We ain't handing out promise rings and shit like that nowadays. Anyway. Yeah, so I haven't seen a burlesque show in a while because of that. So the Star Wars one would be interesting. What's that?
That's the reason why.
Probably because I wouldn't get invited back because apparently the chicks that were there were taking too much interest in me. And the MC was her friend. So her friend ain't calling, oh yeah, bring so and so again. Like, no. Because that bitch wanted to fuck him. No. It's like, that's why I don't understand. It's always funny to me to find guys who have chicks that want to pass him around to her friends and shit like that. I don't get that kind of energy. I get the energy from chicks like, if I'm with them and a bunch of their friends is interested in me, they don't bring me around. Or they bring them chicks around me. Like, nope. I get the selfish vibe. Chicks get with me and then want to be fucking selfish. No, you be around them. She'll try to fuck you. Like I don't have a choice in that shit. Like what the fuck, dude? Hobby horse. Yeah, no, they don't bring me around. I keep missing the burlesque shows I'm invited to, but I'm not gonna miss micro wrestling next month. I'm gonna laugh my butt off. Micro wrestling? Is that just all midgets or something? Or little people? The fuck is micro wrestling? I don't get it. Explain.
Yeah, I'm waiting for an explanation.
I'm looking for an explanation. Please enlighten me. I like being enlightened. I was wondering who the guy in the black mask was.
Cape Crusader.
Oh, okay. Onomatopoeia. Yeah, apparently, according to Malika, he was onomatopoeia. I was like, okay. Why is he a gangster, though? I don't get it. But it's a Kevin Smith creation, so it should be kind of funny in some way. That's why he speaks in sound effect.
He really speaks in sound effects.
That's all he said. He punched somebody, pow. Yikes. You know, it's like, okay. Get what the fuck was happening. This dude's stupid. What the hell is wrong with him? But he running all these other gangsters. He running his hit crew like he was a hitman or something. I'm like, why is he dangerous? He is kicking Batman's ass, but why is he dangerous? Because you're too Batman. Yeah, he can get his ass kicked. Shit, the Penguins first episode, the Penguins' little henchman was kind of giving him some work. Like, yeah, and Batman ended the fight by saying "pow." Yeah, got his ass down and was pow. Ha ha, Batman. You got jokes, Bruce. You got jokes. I can tell you this, you'll find it interesting. The Bruce Wayne in the Cape Crusader show does not treat Alfred like a father figure. He treats Alfred like he is the fucking help.
Damn.
He be saying some fucked up shit to Alfred. He don't even call him Alfred. He call him Pennyworth, period. He be talking to that motherfucker cold like a real asshole rich person will be like, no, you doing this. Pennyworth, come pick me up. Like, god damn, can you be a little nice? No, he is the help, nigga. And this Alfred is overweight.
Don't be doing Alfred like that.
Man, there's a scene in this shit. I'm sorry, I'm tying my shoe. But There's a scene in this that I think you would like, and it's after it's a flashback to show Bruce Wayne parents getting killed and how he acted afterwards after he was interviewed by the police and they took him back home and shit like that. And Alfred is really feeling some kind of bad for the boy, right? And the boy can't sleep. Young Bruce Wayne cannot sleep. This motherfucker get up in the middle of the night and go to Alfred's room and open the door creepily. And that little motherfucker is standing there, young Bruce Wayne, standing there in the doorway in the dark with his eyes bug-eyed wide. And Alfred wake up and look at him and he said, "You're going to help me. They're going to pay. They're all going to pay. And you're going to help me." And then just walk off. I'm like, kill that little creepy kid. You don't kill that little motherfucker. Look, man, you need to burn. He showed up in his doorway like Damien. Like, not Damian Wayne, but Damien
the Omen, yeah.
With that kid. Like, that's some grudge shit. You need to kill that little kid. It was creepy as fuck. And that's how he treated it, Alfred, the whole time. Like, he blamed him for that shit. Like, it was Alfred's fault. Like, oh my God, dude. That was a different take on that shit. I was enjoying. It was a little different take. It was a little different take. He was checking Alfred as. Shit, boy.
Okay, I may check some of that out today.
Yeah, you should watch a couple episodes. The first episode is the Penguin. The second episode is Clayface. I'm spoiling it for you, but you know comics, so you would get the Clayface episode and who Clayface is dressed like. You get it. It's funny. It's funny. It's a little nod to some other shit, but Clayface episode is interesting too. Because people legit get murdered in this show. And Rainfire said, "Yes, it is dwarf wrestling. It's hilarious. Costumes, managers, female wrestlers, and everything." Tell Artie Ibmore he might want some video. He liked the little half things. Tater thoughts. He likes tater thoughts. Little guts and butts. Anyway, and Andre said Outer Range is on the list to watch. Yeah, Outer Range looks interesting. Like some X-Files type of shit on a ranch. Like, I like Josh Brolin, so I'll watch him. So I can see it. I can watch it. But you got anything for these people, JT, so I can run out of here and get this fucking leak stopped?
Not really. Like I said, I want to pop up, say what's up. You're clearly on limited time. I will say this. I don't recall. Did you ever review Alien Romulus?
I didn't go see Alien Romulus.
Okay. Because I saw that recently.
I haven't gone to see any of the current movies that initially I wanted to see. Because before Acolyte, I did want to see each one of these movies. I wanted to see Alien Romulus. I wanted to see The Crow. And what was it? Twisters. I haven't seen any of them in the theater. I haven't been to the theater. Since Deadpool and Wolverine, I haven't been to the theater. Okay. So I haven't watched any of them. And Alien Romulus and The Crow did not get any good reviews. And I was like, I can't watch anything bad. I can't.
Yeah, I mean, Romulus, it wasn't bad. It was better than Covenant. I'll say that, because Covenant was trash.
I actually kind of enjoyed Covenant because these people was dumb as fuck and they was getting what dumb people should be getting. Murked out.
It was too dumb, man. They made Prometheus people look smarter, man. I was like, what is this?
The same shit. More of the same shit. It's the movie they made after they got rid of the actress.
Covenant, but no, Romulus, it was a step up from Covenant. I'll say that. There's problems with it, but I mean, it's serviceable, I guess. I mean, visually it was on point. The production design and all that, that was cool. And Andy's the best character in the movie. That's the black android.
That's what I keep hearing, but
he is the best
part
character.
I wasn't liking was hearing that the black android delivered Sigourney Weaver's line.
That was actually
line. Yeah, which was fucking dumb. It's like, why are you trying to take that from this character? Like, oh my god, dude. And then he say it's stupid as shit. I was like,
But like even the way he said it, it was almost like,
it's a question.
Why am I saying?
Yeah,
Like the actor, like almost like it was self-aware for a second, where it was like he kind of paused and finished it, and you're just even he was probably like, "How would they got me saying this?"
I'm tired of these snakes on this motherfucking plane. Like,
but
some
no,
shit that wasn't supposed to be there.
Andy was enjoyable. I mean, everyone. Okay, it's Andy and his sister. Well, sister, the main character, Rain. They're their brother sister. Obviously adoptive, but they're the heart. They're the only characters who actually have anything going on. Everyone else there is just there to die. I'm just saying these two actually have substance. Yeah,
you need some some red shirts on the sci-fi mission. You need some red shirts, man. Somebody got to die. It's about the movie's about xenomorphs. I mean, come on, man. Somebody got to die. Somebody got to get a face hug.
And the thing about it is, there's xenomorphs in it. Oh, there's a bunch of them, but there were a shit ton of face huggers, and those things are arguably a bigger problem. There was a bunch of face huggers. That's what that was scary. I was like, okay.
That's what made me want to see it after I watched the trailer for it. That highlighting the face huggers more than the xenomorphs was a more interesting take on it.
Yep.
Because it makes them more scary. Because they doing all the grunt work. I mean, put it that way. They're doing all the grunt work. They bringing in these new bodies for you to have these eggs and shit like that. Like, look, you don't get what you get with the xenomorph. We ain't slapping these face huggers on people. So that seemed a little bit more creepy, which is why I said I wanted to see it with somebody who would be scared, because it looked like it might have been a little bit more scary. And I want to see somebody get fucking tripped out by that shit.
No, it's funny because the person sitting right in front of me, they kept jerking their seat the whole time because they kept getting scared, and their seat kept hitting my knee, and I was like, "Oh, this person is terrified." It was kind of funny.
Yeah, be scared.
I did jump at one part though, like when a bunch of face huggers got out. You'll see, because for a second, it almost looks like they weren't going to get out, like the doors, one of those things where the doors closing, and then you see them kind of jammed in. Okay, nope. Oh shit! Right.
Got through. Oh shit!
That actually made me. Oh shit! I said that at the whole right. Yeah, that was that scene. Yeah, I was like, okay,
that was the thing. They said it was a horror director. They had a horror director. I said,
yeah, he did the Evil Dead remake.
Yeah, I said a horror director would probably be awesome on that shit. That shit would be graphic. I can tell you that much.
Well, he did an okay job. There's some stupid stuff at the end of the movie that was totally unnecessary, but
that's the main thing.
Yeah, but
like I think Double Toasted. I watched Double Toasted's review on it, and they were talking about it, and that's what they said. Like I was rocking with you for 2/3 of the movie. You got to that last part and just like, what the fuck? And we gonna cram all this dumb shit in here right at this point. Like you were doing so well. Like you were doing so well. Why did you do this shit?
Yeah, that shit was dumb. I'm like, why? But here I am playing devil's advocate. In its defense, it was literally doing like a greatest hits of the entire Alien franchise. Even found a way to incorporate Prometheus shit in there. And then even at the end, I mean, no spoilers, but even just like structurally, it's an Alien movie. Whenever you think the movie's over, it's not, because something's going to stow away or something's going to happen on the ship you get away on, right? That's always going to freaking happen. But it's just like, it was just dumb the way they did it. And that creature, that's all I'm going to say. Alien Resurrection, that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I saw
Alien Resurrection, I already did it.
Yeah, I'm an Alien fan, right? So I've watched all of these Alien movies, even the shitty ones. I always give it a chance.
Yep.
I don't want to see a brand new movie regurgitating the older movies. When story-wise, timeline-wise, you're supposed to happen before all the rest of this shit happens. Well, now you sound like the fucking acolyte to me. You are taking stuff from other properties and putting it into your stuff so you can say you were the one who did it first. Like, bro, I'm not interested in watching that shit. I just went through that. No, give me some. See, that's the shit that pissed me off.
No. But yeah, I mean, it was all right. I mean, it was fine. Mm-hmm. It's fine.
It's a movie.
It's not great, but it was better than Covenant. At least I wasn't super pissed off. Covenant pissed me off.
Somebody's gonna have to tell me what they really hated about Covenant, because the main thing I got on Covenant that the people were fucking dumb. They were dumb as fuck. That's the main thing. The actions that the characters took was dumb as hell. Did I think the movie overall was dumb? No, just the characters in it did some of the dumbest shit that they should have got killed for, and they did. So, okay, we good, I guess. But some of the other parts of it was really fucked up on a character kind of situation. Like, damn, y'all really working out your own personal issues with folks in this shit now. Like, oh, that seemed oddly specific.
Yeah, we'll talk about that another time.
Yeah, we'll talk about it another time. Rainfire, I put his comment up here about what micro wrestling is. Apparently, it is with little people. And Rainfire says, but I'm an a-hole. I want to dress up like Godzilla and take pictures after the match. It's a sickness. You fucking stupid as shit. You should dress up like Willy Wonka. You're surrounded by all the little Oompa Loompas.
God. Oh, no.
That'd be worse. Godzilla, yeah, that'd be kind of funny. They're all dressed like buildings, but you dress up like Willy Wonka. You come out there with your Gene Wilder top hat and your little cane and shit. Like, would you really want to see paradise? It starts singing and shit. That'd be fucked up. Give them all little suckers to hold and shit. Little lollipops.
That is horrible.
That'd be fucked up. You didn't make the movie. You just watched it. This cosplay. You cosplay it, dude. Shit. That'd be funny as hell. I want copies of that picture. So I can laugh about it sometimes. Young Bruce looked like a serial killer in that scene. Yeah, he did look like a fucking serial killer. Let you know, understanding that how that little boy broke. It shows you the psychological breaking of a child. That's what that shit did. Broke that boy. Yeah, when I saw a new Alien, the first thing I thought of was Alien Resurrection. It was complete letdown. Yeah, well, there you go. There you go. What up? Andy was great. Yeah, if I watch it, it'll be for that actor to get some shine on it, because he was actually being good. He was good in the role. I don't like him giving Sigourney's line or giving Ripley's line, though. I don't like that. That is a iconic line that happens after this movie, so he shouldn't be giving it at all. It's fucked up.
I mean, at least it's like a quick, fleeting moment, and you know, it's like it's awkward, but then it just keeps moving. It's like, yeah, it's not that bad. It's just dumb.
Dumb as fuck. Yeah,
it's really dumb.
Cheap. Two birds in a cage. Cheap. Alien Ramos, this part was a black guy. Yeah, that's what everybody keeps saying.
Yeah.
That's our word for it. Do you have a sweet tooth? Come out singing. Do you have a sweet tooth? Shit. Yeah, just like Willy Wonka, it'd be more fun. I'm telling you, it'd be infinitely more fun. You would get your picture, but other people would be taking pictures of you with these mugs. Get your little phone, get your cell phone out. You just play the song in your pocket. Motherfuckers will start dying in there. I'm telling you, that's comedy gold right there. You might go viral for that shit. You bring some eyes to their wrestling program. Anyway, thank you, JT, for coming up. I got to bounce out of here and go see about this water leak. So appreciate you, homie. I'm off next weekend, so if you free or not free, let me know. I think some bullshit is coming out in the theater. I might just want to hang out.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep. So appreciate you. That was the JT who said he doesn't write comics. He used to write comics, motherfucker.
Dude, I haven't written a comic script in like 2 years.
Yeah, well, I haven't I ain't bought a comic in 2 years, about 2 to 3 years. So we in the same spot, aren't we? It's time for us to get over that so we can get on to the next disappointment that we come have. Get over it. You actually can write. You actually sold it. That's good. So write something. You got a different life. Shit, you even came up here as Kane Cage. You better write something.
I mean, the thing is, I got stuff that's like written. I just need the money to produce it at this point. That's kind of where I'm at a little bit. I got a bunch of stuff, but you need those thousands of dollars to get it made.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where it's at.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, you loving your new job right now too, so maybe they'll throw in some of that shit too. Your cult.
And I'm leveling up. I mean, I did get a pay increase. Now let me just get that first check of the year. Upcoming week. Upcoming week. Finally get getting some money again.
Yeah, we need to go out there. We need to go out and get some of that Uncle Nearest in your system. He like, I'll bring the bottle. But all right, JT, appreciate you, man. Thanks for coming up. I'm gonna drop you down right now. That was the JT, Joe Thompson from Fracture Comics. Even though he said he ain't written in a while, you're always writing. With that, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Thank you guys for coming through. I went 30 extra minutes, and I need to get to where I'm going. I would take longer to close out, but I do need to hustle up because I am working today. So, for all you who don't know, I'm artisanmc. This has been the hero's journey. I do this every Sunday at home or at work for you, so we can talk about this geekdom and life and everything in between there. Like, share, subscribe, click that bell so you get alerted when I go live, because I do go live randomly during the week. I usually try to at least give you a stream by Wednesday, new book day, new comic book day, because it's ingrained in me to know that. But otherwise, Sunday is my regular time that I do. So I don't do a lot of lives outside of this one. It's just how my schedule works. So with that, black man being brutally honest. What's up, Kev? Man, get at me, Kev. I was trying to figure out what happened with your Supercell review, man. Email me. Let me know what happened. So, because I want somebody to review that shit. I want to review it. I just haven't had time yet. But hit me, artisan1112@gmail.com. Let me know what happened so I can steer clear of that shit. I didn't get enough, copyright violations. I'll need streams pulled down too and shit. So, rules of the road. Each one teach one. But good seeing you here. But yeah, that's it. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here and get back on my job. Appreciate you guys being here. And I will see you next Sunday or the next stream. Peace.